Hey everybody, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where my Kraken Pet grind is going exactly as well as Oxie's Inferno grind. Hi, I'm TMD.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, normally I'm joined by a different co-host, Bloodhound, aka Mickey the Titan, aka Lil Dissy, aka the man himself, Michael. Unfortunately, he's gallivanting around New York City this week, so I had to bring this vagabond in to talk about old school RuneScape with us. Because that's what we do in Xpwaste, talk about old school RuneScape. Almost. We're going to get off track, especially because it's this vagabond and I talking about RuneScape, so Lord knows where the conversation's going to go. If you're not new around here, strap in and strap on. It's an Oxy TMD episode, and Michael is not here to supervise.
All right, boys, pull out the strap on. He said it.
It is gonna be a wild ride. Mr. Too Much Dad, the man with no kids but somehow too much dad.
That's me.
How has your week been going?
It's been good. I am glad to not be doing anything, because in between when I last recorded with you guys and now, which was only a month ago, less than a month ago, I spent a week in Italy, which was very fun but also very exhausting.
Yeah.
And so I've been Jay chilling. Had the first full weekend that I got to spend with Too Much Wife in about 2 months.
Yeah.
She is so you guys had Ferraric on last week, who is a third-year medical school student. My wife is a second-year resident, so she's 3 years ahead of him in that process.
Mm-hmm.
So she's very, 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 very busy. Usually works about 80 hours a week. She worked like 14 days in a row, like, the usual. So had a really good weekend with her. And just been hanging out, not doing anything, which is exactly what I want right now. What about you, Oxie?
I have been working. I am finally back into the swing of a full-time job, and it's chaos, let me tell you. It is. I work with adolescents, 12 to 17, I think, and it's chaos. The kids are insane. Not like clinically insane, just like little bastard teenagers insane. But so far, I like them all. I have had some rough days with some of them, but, it's going to take time to build that therapeutic relationship. So I'm confident in the kids. The adults might drive me through the roof, but the kids, I think, are going to be all right. There's a song about that or something. I don't know.
I think that's... I was going to say Nirvana, but that's not right, is it?
I have no idea.
Kids are all...
But
it's the Offspring. I wasn't even close.
Oh my god, I love that band that I've never heard of.
You've heard of
yeah,
but it's...
I'm here for it.
They have a person named Noodle. Noodles.
Me too?
Sorry.
Question mark?
His name is Noodles, which is much... All right, never mind.
What a man. Well, in any case, work has been good, but work has been very busy. Upside of work, sometimes I have nothing to do because the kids are technically in like a school program with me. I'm not a school counselor, but they do school work while I'm in the building with them. And if they're doing school and I'm not doing therapy, I don't have anything to do. Like, my job is to help the kids. I have some other like housekeeping things I have to do, but mostly I'm there to work with the kids. So like if I'm not doing therapy or writing notes or getting the absolute shit kicked out of me in Uno, I have nothing to do. And my boss was like, well, our last therapist brought her Switch in. Like, I watch Netflix on my iPad and we have nothing to do. I'm like, so I can bring my laptop in. She's like, yeah, go for it. Needless to say, I hit 91 crafting this week. I'm currently cooking, so I'll probably do some cooking at work as well. So I have time to do super AFK things, but my laptop is really old, so I have to play on low detail, no GPU. Please don't start my computer on fire.
Yeah,
settings.
let me check the Oxie M high scores. Ooh, tough luck, buddy. Still 2 total levels. Yeah, you talked some mean shit during the last episode about passing me in total level while I was in Italy. But look at
I gained
how
like
the
6 levels
turntables,
that
Oxie.
week, dog. I was absolutely cruising that week.
I'm
What do you want from me?
I'm pretty close to 3 separate levels, and I'm already 2 levels ahead of you. So
That's the issue. That's what I was getting to, is that I don't have time to do like anything after work.
Yeah.
This past week in particular has been insane because some dumbass said, "Hey, let's give you guys a new commercial." While Michael's not here to help. So I think I got home from like Monday night until Wednesday night and did nothing but edit from like probably 5 to like 11 p.m.
Yep.
And if I wasn't editing, I was recording the commercial, or I was getting B-roll and like, communicating with Ferraric, because it turns out we just didn't have an MP4.
Nice.
All that description that he was doing, there was more of that. And it actually was really interesting because he was describing like the different pockets of like bots and things like that were getting removed and how they kind of separated the data to send off. But without a video track, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because he was showing me the diagrams over Discord, and it made a lot of sense when you were able to look at it. But unfortunately, that's why some of it had to get cut out. No shade to him at all. It was a really fun episode. Just not as data heavy as we initially anticipated. But so it did take a little bit more work to get that one done and finished. And there might be a new commercial this week. Who knows? But I have done maybe 1 day of PVM in the last probably 8 days of doing life work, so there's still no cape. It's
And still no new purples.
And still no new purples. I raided with Jesse and Ray, and I want to say it was like Bra Dog, one of Jesse's friends, came around, and we were running some theaters, and we were doing 3-mans, then 4-mans, and then I was like, all right, guys, I got to go to a homecoming thing tonight because I was going over to one of my buddy's houses for homecoming, and they're like, all right, thanks for the purple. I said, if you guys get a purple, I'm quitting this game. Sure enough, I get a DM 23 minutes later. Thanks for the Avernic. They got the trio Avernic, so I think I'm just the curse at this point
You're still
when it comes to seeing purples.
You're still in the like rune light party in the screenshot. It's great.
Am I
Go back
really?
and look at it, yeah.
Oh my god, that's disgusting. There's no way I'm still in the... I am, no, but I logged out. Oh, I hate this game so much. But yeah, no, we're having so much fun.
I guess I didn't really talk about my RuneScape week. So last Saturday,
you had the audacity to like talk about how happy you are with your wife and shit. Like,
what an asshole!
We want to hear about the gains, baby.
Last Saturday had a pretty good TOA day. So we're recording this on a Monday, so not 2 days ago, but a week and 2 days ago. So I got up. Our boy Young Mac posted a picture of him making chili, like last Friday maybe. And I said, oh, don't even get me started. And he really inspired me to make some chili. Yeah, that was on 9:30. This is not important, but yeah, he posted that on Friday. I was like, oh, baby, might have to make some chili tomorrow. And then I did. So I put that in and like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, all that's to say, I was cooking chili. But you only need to start every like 20 to 30 minutes. So it's like, all right, let me TOA with the boys. So I was sending it with like Troll, Smooth Lou, and a couple other people. Like people kept just joining in. We got a 5-man Fang split, which was pretty good. That was like 38 mil. Back to back into a 6-man 13 death staff, which was about a 300 mil split each, which was pretty tasty. And it basically covered my losses on the rapier, which has dropped 120 mil since I bought it, the fang, which has dropped 70 mil since I bought it. So yeah, that's about all that covered. Yeah, pretty good. Seeing two. Those are the only two purples I've seen in the past like month, so feels good. That they were at least like two of the most expensive ones.
Hey, we saw a 6-man fang split, and they are not as juicy as they used to be.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to complain about, what was it? Something like 21 mil, something like that. Not going to complain, but, you know, Ancestral's expensive, dog.
It is.
I'm still like, I think right now I'm 190 mil away from the top and bottom or something like that. Like I am down real bad. Yeah. And Ancestral is my next like legitimate upgrade. So
do you have a ward yet?
I do. I bought a ward for like some pocket chains and a hand job the other day at the Grand Exchange. So I think wards are right there with Justiciar at FFA status, but you know, who's to say really?
I bought one right before I went to Italy because I was like, oh, people are gonna catch on.
I'm so sorry,
good.
dog.
It wasn't that much. It was like 20 mil when I bought it, and it's like 8 mil right now. And I've been using it every raid because it's more damage than an ancestral piece. It's a really good item, and it's only 8
Is it really?
mil. Yeah. Ward is 3%. Each ancestral piece is 2%. So like, it's probably not gonna make a difference, but it's a really good upgrade. Which, you know, segue reminds me of other things I've been buying with my money, which is generally useful items for bingo. I bought myself a crossbow a while ago. I bought myself a bludgeon because do you know how much a bludgeon is right now, Oxie?
No.
11 mil.
I'm going to buy a bludgeon. I'm not. I'm stopping making wine, and I'm going to buy a bludgeon right this second. Are you kidding
11
me?
mil.
Holy shit. Scape gave me a bludgeon. This is back in the day when like Scape had more money than any of us knew what to do with. And I made a comment about like needing to borrow a bludgeon or wanting to borrow a bludgeon for something. And he's like, do you just want it? I'm like, to borrow? He's like, no, to keep it. I'm like, no. He's like, right then, it's yours. I'm like,
Get fucked.
Okay. He like traded it to me mid Slayer task, and he's like, nope, I won't hear anything about it. It's yours. So I'm like, okay. So, but I had to sell it for the Scythe rebuild. Bro, 11.6 mil, and it insta bought for 11.5.
Right.
Oh my good golly
It's
god!
wild right now. And like, if
We
you don't
are
have
wild, boys.
Ooh, I might go buy a Zami spear too for Corp because they're also like 9 mil right now.
There's no shot Zami spears are that cheap,
bro. It is, promise.
Sam Orakian spears.
7. All right, get me out of here. Straight to the GE. 7 mil.
All right, bought mine for 6.9, boys. We are going to be prepped and cheering for. Wait, why did we buy? You can use the Mumpty.
Yeah, but I think
on Corp.
If you spec it down, it's still going to be better to have.
Is it? Oh, because it's Fort. Is the spear Fort?
Spear's Fortic.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, I'm gonna have teammates
for the
who
mass.
need it anyway, right? Like,
probably. Honestly, probably. The question is, how much are claws?
A lot. Do you have claws yet? Oh no, they're only 90 mil.
Only 90 mil.
It's cheaper than Ancestral. Yeah, I pretty correctly got boomed the other day when I where did I put that? In the in the bingo, I think it was Gen Chat maybe. Yeah, I said a couple tips for bingo prep. First, non-TOA items are really cheap right now. Bludgeon's 12 mil, Scythe is under 400 mil, Rapier's 80 mil, etc. And people were like, bro, if you think that's cheap, we were playing 2 different games. And I was like, fair.
Yeah, it was kind of fucking stupid, not gonna lie.
But it's true, right? Like, look at how excited you just got when I told you Bludgeon was 11.5 mil.
You want to know what the difference is? I'm rich.
I'm rich,
you know?
bitch.
I remember when I wasn't rich. That's a lot of money to spend.
Like, someone might not know that a Bludgeon, everything other than the Scythe, I think, is fair game there. Like, someone might not know that Bludgeon's 12 mil and be like, yo, I've been wanting to do Nightmare forever, but I haven't been able to afford a good crush weapon.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because I mean, they were what, like
They
28?
were like 30 mil, yeah.
Yeah, before Raids 3. So DHCB, down 20 mil. I think you said down to 20
Bro,
mil,
Lance is
Tyler.
like...
Dude, I don't want to talk
40.
about Lance. Lance is 40.
Yeah.
Lance was 38 the other day.
Yeah.
Gear's at a weird spot right now because of TOA. If it's not good at TOA,
It's down bad right now.
like, dude, the scythe is 350. The only thing that I think has managed to hold its value is melee gear.
Yeah.
And crystal.
And
that's
the
it.
Twisted Bowington.
Okay, when the twisted bow loses value, the economy is just crashing, period.
Yeah.
Like back when the T-bow was down to like 800 mil, the whole world was down bad at that point. Yeah. You know?
You know what else is good money right now? The thing I'm about to do, which is an herb run. Go do your herb runs, folks.
Yeah, okay. We'll see about that. Herb runs.
You make like 450K per herb run.
Imagine knowing how to do an herb run, honestly.
True.
All right, so back to the matter at hand.
But I do think it's valid, like both the criticism, but also my advice, which is like, when the economy is in a weird spot, take advantage of it. Like a month and a half ago, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to afford a Zami Hosta when it was 18 mil or whatever. But now it's 7 mil, right? That's a big difference. And you can go start doing some content that you wouldn't have been able to do ahead of time. Or like something like a Lance. I know the T-Pace Tyler just bought his Lance and has been loving Vorkath. Man's making like 2 to 3 mil an hour. He could do Vorkath before, but it's a pain without.
It's a dramatic going from a blowpipe to a Lance is a dramatic difference in the content. You know?
Yeah.
Especially if you smack a big BGS swing, like Lance absolutely smacks. So
yeah. And then the other piece of bingo advice is just like slow buy supplies ahead of time because you're going to need them. You don't want to pay a premium during bingo. So if you have extra cash, granted, not everybody has extra cash. Like you don't have a mill to spend on supplies, everybody. But if you do, just stock up on, the supplies you're going to need. You're going to need super combats. You're going to need restores. You're going to need brews. Just buy it. Like put them in for 10% under med price and wait, right?
Not bad advice from Papa TMD, about a little bit of bingo things.
A little bit of bobbity boo.
Which I suppose is the entire point of this episode, more or less.
Sure.
Is bingo things.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty decent place to start. Bingo is happening. It's real. Ooh, someone has a golden shin here at the GE. Yeah, bingo, King of the Hill. So this episode comes out the 13th, I believe, which means sign up ends tomorrow. So if you've not signed up, do it.
Oh, it ends tomorrow when the episode comes out. I was like, does it?
Yeah, no, it ends if the episode comes out on the 13th, so it'll end the 14th, which is tomorrow. Sign up. The draft is the 15th, which will be a shit show, and I can't wait for it. It's gonna be a really good time. I'm sure we'll be talking about the results of the draft Sunday for the episode following. But yeah, I'm very excited. The gimmick for this bingo is King of the Hill. So we've kind of agreed that like Springo that we hold in like February or March is like your cut and dry bingo, whereas fall bingo is whatever little gimmick we want to throw in, that's what we're gonna do. And this time it is this time we are adding tiles that are sometimes rotating, sometimes lasting for the entire week. They have a competitive element to them, so they're not first come first serve. They are like rank place. So we're gonna spoil. This is probably one of two tiles that we're gonna spoil, and I'm just gonna do it off the rip, right? Yeah. So heard it here first. It's out in the ether. Bingo starts on the 22nd of October. That's a Saturday. So that Thursday, the 27th, there's a tile called Barrows Bonanza. When that tile opens up, it's going to last from Thursday all the way till Sunday when the event ends. And the more Barrows pieces you accumulate, the more points you earn. If you earn the most points in for that tile, most pieces, you get the most points. You get the max, I think it's 5 points or 10 points, I think. 10 points. So your team gets 10 points if you get first. And that incrementally goes down in chunks until you get to last place. And if you don't get any Barrows items and you get last place, you lose 5 points.
Doesn't even have to be you don't get any. It's just if you get the least points.
Yeah, if you get the least amount of Barrows items, if you get 5 and the team above you in second to last gets 6, they get 1 point and you lose 5 points. So even if you're not first, you really don't want to be last. So we think this is gonna help drive the competitive nature of bingo without it feeling so like I have to get on and play, because we have a ton of people signed up. There's like 180 plus people right now. I bet we break 200 by the time this episode comes out.
Certainly by the time bingo starts, we'll be at 200. But yeah, I mean, so for people who haven't done a bingo before, some of these ideas might be a little foreign, but like if you've done a bingo, you know that like even mid bingo burnout is real.
Saturday is the hypest shit in the world. By the time you get to Wednesday, you're like, yay, give it up for day 5 at Cerberus. Hey, day 5.
You've had enough of doing content that you would not otherwise do. Like there's always a God Wars tile. And I hate God Wars more than anything else on this sweet, sweet earth. And
there may or may not be a God Wars style this bingo. We're still undecided on that because of TMD's virulent hatred.
And if there is one, it's going to be called TMD. There has to be a God Wars tile. I'm sorry.
Get TMD. There has to be a God Wars tile.
but really, like on the first couple days, everybody's really excited. It's the weekend. Everybody's playing. Everybody's hype as and everybody's like, let's do this shit. You go do some of your favorite content. You learn some new shit. You're raiding with the boys. You're getting hype drops. And then like Tuesday, Wednesday start to hit and you're like, bro, if I have to kill another Basilisk Knight, I'm gonna lose it. I'm just gonna lose it because all the fun
at that
tiles.
Point, you guys spent all weekend doing the fun tiles, and now it's like, oh.
And so one of our, granted, I didn't help plan this one, but one of I think everybody in TNL's favorite bingos was the Trailblazer bingo. What was that? 3 bingos ago?
Yeah, that was fall bingo last year, so that was a year ago. And that Trailblazer bingo, that was Scape's brainchild. That was one of the most fun events we ever put on.
It was very, very fun. And so you guys have probably talked about it on the podcast before, but I guess, the podcast was going at the time. But for those who don't know what Trailblazer bingo was, there were 4 small boards and they were released every 2 days. And each one, I think it was a 3x3. So you had 9.
Yeah, there were 3x3. We had the Twisted Cup board. We had the Trailblazer Cup board. We had the Sage Cup board because we had heard about Leagues 3, but nothing like finalized about it. I think it was after Leagues 3 got moved back, actually.
Yeah, might have been.
And then finally we had the Dragon Cup board at the end, which was like just stupid drops, like really like specific Theater of Blood uniques, like sigil drops, like really hard stuff.
Yeah. And so what was great about that was it refreshed the interest every couple days, right? You had a whole new board every 2 days. And like there were pros and cons to that. Like almost every team was completing each of the first 3 boards within like 36 hours and you had 48 hours. So people were just like, well, nothing to do. But that was kind of hype. You're like, hell yeah, we finished this board. Let's take the night off and get ready for tomorrow. That was really fun. So just renewing the hype. Whereas a normal bingo, a lot of the times it really is just like, oh, it turns into a slog on days like 4, 5, 6. By the time you wrap around to the second weekend, it comes all the way back around and is fun again.
The fire gets lit under everybody's asses.
But we're
except for like the really hopeless stretch there at the very end if you're not gonna win. But
but we're hoping to, with adding new tiles frequently and also having them be rank based. So with this, there's always going to be something to do, and there's going to be a lot more things than just Barrows. Barrows is just the one we're telling you about. So if you don't know what to do, or like you're really like, maybe your team only has a few more important tiles that you want to go for, but you're really not feeling like, one last bingo was we had like Zalcano and Corrupted Gauntlet left on the last day, and we were like, I don't really feel like doing that right now. Well, you can go do Barrows and like get a couple ranks, get a couple points, right? So
the very first bingo I was in, I know I've told the story, but I like telling it again because now there's a lot more XP wasters now than there was at Springo, and there's a hell of a lot more than there was at Fall Bingo, right? So I'm telling the story. If you're an old timer, like I've told I'm gonna tell the story again. Bye, Shadow. Enjoy dinner.
I'll miss you.
My very first bingo I signed up for, it was, I think we were playing in August of 2020, and I got drafted and I got picked. If I didn't get picked last, I got picked second to last. And I was, by all accounts, an absolute shitter. I mean, like 1,500 total level. I had gotten my fire cape like a week prior. When they drafted me, I hadn't killed Zulrah TMD. That's how long ago this event was. And honest to God, shout out to the Roth Bingo V4, the Gillinor Gambits, for just being the nicest freaking people and taking me to all these stupid bosses. Like, we went to Bandos, right? And it was like the college age kids had to bring their like middle school sibling to the mall with them to hang out. That's what it was like. Like, they loaned me range gear because they're like, yeah, Black D'Hide's not going to cut it with a blowpipe. Here's full Armadillo. I'm like, okay. We were there for 5 hours. I didn't get a single kill. That bingo came down to one tile. We won that bingo, but it came down to one tile. And that was the Nightmare unique, which at the time I had like maybe mid 70 strength and attack. And bludgeons were like 65 mil back then. So I was way too poor to afford a bludgeon. And I said, well, I got a fighter torso and a cudgel and 75 strength. What do you guys want me to do? And they were all like, we want you to sit tight and hang out because I couldn't deal. There was a player who was actually on my Springo team, Nicole. She was a significantly higher level than me, higher stats, more PVM experience. I think she died like 40 times trying to learn Nightmare. Yep. So when I was seeing that kind of progress, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to sit that one out. Before that bingo started, I had got my very first ever Zulrah kill, which TMD was there for. You remember what that experience was like,
I was also there for failures 1 through
35.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were failing a lot, but
those were some of the most fun streams, though.
They had like bonus tiles that released throughout bingo, but they were first come, first serve. I think it was like Curved Bone, Elysian Sigil, like Stale Baguette, or it was a Third Age piece, I think. Third Age.
Who would put a Third Age piece
and then a
bingo?
Mutagen. They were first come, first serve bonus tiles. So they're like, well, you could either hunt for Third Age or hunt for a Mutagen. And I was in the middle of the most epic RuneScape series ever, Clue Season. So I was holding on to all my Clue caskets, so I couldn't open them up. So they're fine with me not doing clues. And they said, do a Mutagen tile. And I'm like, I'm going to refer you to the one Zulrah kill I have. They're like, GG's, Oxie. It's been fun. But I sat in VC with them and, like, did quests and things like that where they were all at Nightmare for like 36 hours, mind you. We blew through this board because I was on a team with absolute gamers. That is an event where I would have loved a Barrows tile. I would have loved a tile that lasted for the entire week and a tile that I could do, because sometimes that's what it comes down to. It comes down to necks. It comes down to like God War's Dungeon, when the most efficient way to do it isn't a solo. It comes down to Theater of Blood and Fazani's Nightmare, where like if you don't know how to do the content, you're not gonna be helpful, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of hoping that King of the Hill gives people of all skill levels something to do at any point throughout the event, should they ever feel like, I want something else to do. I don't know.
Like,
So
this was our board, and those were, this can't be right because we definitely did the LMS one, but it's close.
Point is, the tiles that are
left are gross. So it's a bunch of God Wars, and I don't need to talk about the God Wars tiles. Our God Wars tiles were bad last bingo. They were.
I don't know who designed them, but they weren't great. I don't know what idiot said 4 specific God Wars uniques, but it wasn't great, and he's been punished.
He has
over and over again.
TMD has always said, "Thank God I didn't let you guys do what you wanted to do," which was, instead of a Sarah sword, it was supposed to be an ACB, which would have just made that tile even more. But yeah, so we've got for our audio only listeners, we've got stuff like Scotizo unique, which is not fun to grind out because totems are not fun to get. A 5-man Chambers speedrun, 4 specific God Wars pieces, 2 other specific God Wars pieces, a Nex unique, a Tob unique, a Nightmare unique, 2 Chambers, well, it was like Chambers points, but basically 2 Chambers uniques, and Zalcano uniques.
And a God Wars Dungeon hilt.
Sorry, and a God Wars hilt. And so those are some long shots, and a lot of them are just not fun content, or weren't reasonably completable in, a couple hours. Like, there's no Hail Mary for getting 2 Chambers uniques. It's just not going to happen because you can't.
Yeah, and we should add the little caveat that, like, we don't design boards with the idea that they're not going to be fun. Like, when we created this board, we knew the difficult tiles were going to be hard, but we knew they were going to be fun. Yeah. Right? They become less fun in that last 24 hours when it's like,
if they feel like they're out of reach.
Yeah, it's like, I guess we can sit in a next mass and hope something drops in our name, but like we only have 2 Tobbers on the team, so like, I don't think we're getting that tile. And like purples don't exist to Chambers, blah blah blah. So
yeah, and so our hope with doing something like King of the Hill and introducing these tiles that you don't know about ahead of time, and some of them last the rest of bingo. Some of them are 24 hours. Yeah. Some of them are only going to be that day. Some of them are going to be for the rest of bingo.
Which we also think might help kind of ease off the strain a little bit.
Yeah.
If a 24-hour tile comes out and all you've been doing for the last 2 days is like a Dagganoth Kings, because for some reason you can't get an Archer's Ring. You're 1,000 collective Dagganoth kills with your team, and you can't get an Archer's Ring for some reason. Like what happened to my team in Springo. You can take a break and it's still contributing because you have like 1 day to do a specific activity.
Yeah.
And
there will be some level of strategy, which I think will be interesting as well. Like, hey, we're 5th on the Barrows tile. Like, let's go pump out Barrows for a couple hours. We could get up to 2nd, and that'll gain us some good points that, we might not get otherwise. So and there's going to be a lot of those where we're thinking about our placements and thinking about, oh, well, where could we spend a little bit of time to get the biggest value in points? Mm-hmm. So I think it'll add a element of strategy that usually you don't see in bingo, because what you see is do everything. Right?
Just get the drop, idiot.
Yeah. But here, I am pretty confident in saying no one is going to get first in every King of the Hill tile. We're going to have different teams competing for first on different ones, because quite simply, you're not going to have the bandwidth to try to go for first on all of them. So different.
And it might be tactical to like sometimes even take the 5-point loss.
I think that'll be the
you're-
other interesting thing is like, okay, going from last to not last, that's a 6-point swing. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
But you can't. Yeah. But like going from second to last to the one above that, that might get you 1 or 0 points. So like just making sure you stay out of last like is also going to be kind of a strategic thing.
So for people participating in this bingo, normally our point values range from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5. This time we've decided to up it to 1 to 10. Just to give us some more variance, because after looking at our Springo board, a lot of tiles that were 4 points should have been 5 points, kind of vice versa. But, you know, like our Inferno tile was not the max point tile.
You should explain what the Inferno tile was, though.
The Inferno tile was to make it to wave 42, with the caveat that if you had an Infernal cape, you couldn't participate. In hindsight, I wish we kind of would have bumped it to 50. To make it more difficult.
Only like 4 teams completed that.
I completed it.
Did not need to get more. Yeah.
And I still don't have an Infernal cape.
Basically, every bingo, each mod has one like pet tile. And by pet tile, I mean
and that
like,
was
tile that is just for them.
And that was my pet tile. Yeah. That was my pet tile, was the Inferno, because that's the first tile I did. I said, I'm going to slap my deck on the table and get in the Inferno is the minute bingo starts.
Yeah.
And I did. That's the first tile my team completed, I think.
Yeah. Mine was, it was called TMD wanted a clue tile, which was obtain a mega rare from Clue Scrolls.
Which was the worst, by the way. People bitched about the God Wars dungeon tile that I created, and we just let TMD be like, get potions, idiots.
At
have
least
fun.
We knew that was a bad tile, right? Like, we said it in the title. This is
Mm-hmm.
The other one that was really bad was the Swaggin' Dragon, which I think is still an interesting tile, but is fair. So Swaggin' Dragon was basically get a dragon metal lump from Rune Dragons, a dragon metal slice from Addy Dragons, or a dragon full helm from Mithril Dragons. There were other components to it, but that was like the crux of it. Not a tile that people really enjoyed. I don't know why. Like I got it at like 30 KC at Addy Dragons. It was a pretty easy tile. I don't know.
I think you are one of 2 teams of the 10 that completed that tile.
Yeah.
And the other team that completed it won the whole event. Did. So like,
but yeah. So like, as far as pointing the tiles and why we're upping it, like we had stuff like 2 Zulrah uniques was 4 points. Our Corp tile was 4 points. The Staff of the Dead and Sarah Light was 4 points. Next unique was 4 points. The 4 specific God Wars dungeon uniques was 4 points. We want to have more variation, right? So that some of those can be 9-point tiles, and some of them are 8, and some of them are 7, right? As opposed to, but we also didn't want to go crazy and have like 100-point tiles and then like 97-point tiles, because then that just starts to get a little annoying. But we think going up to 10 is a decent way to spread it out.
I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who have never played in a RuneScape bingo before. This is not a thing in game. This is not like an in-game setting. This is a private clan event that we are putting on. And by private, we mean like it's not officially sponsored.
Yeah.
Anyone, if you're getting to this podcast and this is your first episode, first of all, welcome, dude. You picked a hell of a day to join up. Number 2, you can join our Discord right now and participate. We've not like capped who can play. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I think somebody signed up with 700 total level. And I'm also aware that we have multiple Infernal Max Capers playing. So we have the entire gambit of players represented, and we have tiles for the entire gambit of players to be able to participate in. Because even if you only have base 30s, first of all, you're probably going to have a bad time in a PVM bingo, but there are going to be things for you to do.
Yes. There will be things for you to do. You will certainly not be able to do everything. We want, like, we want tiles. We want everybody to be able to participate, but we also want everybody to be able to have fun. And people who are maxed are not going to have fun if every tile is doable by someone with pace 30s, right? If it was, all skilling tiles and then like kill Bryophyte 100 times, like if you're doing
you
tiles
have an
every day,
infernal
you're not gonna have
max
fun.
cape, but like who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Just like
So that we do try to walk the fine line. Michael said, "What about fire max capers?"
I have no room to talk because I don't have an infernal cape or a max cape. So sure, whatever.
So yeah, we try to walk a fine line between everybody will be able to contribute and have fun, but also not every tile is for every person. And I think both of those things are good.
Yeah, and it goes both ways. Like, if you are an infernal max caper, and if you're looking at like the Springo board, where you're like, what am I supposed to do with like the Bones to Peaches tile? Like, maybe you
It's
use
not
your
for
skill set
you.
to do a different
Exactly.
tile. You can contribute to it, obviously. I'm sure your team would appreciate it, but like, something tells me that you are more than capable of killing other bosses besides Obor and Bryophyta. On the flip side, if you say, how could you put Theater of Blood and the Inferno on there? Those are objectively the two hardest pieces of content in the game. I could never do those. Those aren't your tiles to complete.
Yes.
There's something in between. Literally, the middle of this board is about as mid-game as it gets, roughly speaking. We've got Slayer, we've got Skatizo, but we've also got higher end things. We've got Hydra on there. We've got wilderness content, so
yeah,
quite a bit. This is the old board, not this board, the old board.
And I guess this is a message to all of the high level players who will be participating in bingo. Remember that it's not just about you, please. Like, I know that your dick is gigantic and you want everybody to know that, but like, don't go, okay, yeah, bingo started. Let me knock out 10 really easy tiles today that could take the lower level members of our team, like, it could keep them occupied for like 3 or 4 days. Those aren't for you. Leave them for those people so that they can have fun. Like, you're not going to have fun doing those low-level tiles. And you're going to make people who should be doing those tiles either do nothing or do, like, I don't know.
As a low-level player, I've been in that situation. So in that first bingo that I participated in, don't get me wrong, the Gilladorn Gambit's fantastic team. Literally the nicest people the nicest people I had never met before that I played RuneScape with. Like, you guys are all right here in TNL, but as far as people I like, literally I didn't know anybody. I don't think I even knew like you and Michael and them.
Yeah.
I probably did. I did, because that's when we started the TNL bingo like a few weeks later. But I went camping for the first weekend just because like it happened to fall on the same weekend. My ex and I at the time went up to northern Michigan. That first weekend I was gone, I saw this board. I was so excited. Bro, they had a pet tile. They had a Dagannoth King's tile. They had stuff from God Wars Dungeon. I was going to learn all these new God Wars bosses. Like, there were so many tiles I was going to go for. When I got back, gone.
Yeah.
Probably half the board was cleared out, and most of that half was like, these are the tiles Oxie can do. So I spent a majority of that bingo in the deep wilderness trying to get a ward.
Oh, God, I remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, I spent a lot of and the worst part is I killed probably, I think, 300 to 500 collectively of the 3 bosses. Didn't see any shard pieces. Yep. We got the tile done, but I wasn't the one that completed it. So it's like, all that work for nothing. Yep. So, if it's a really easy tile, come challenge me in a 2-on-2 Theater of Blood, coward.
And if you're someone who wants to be a captain, this is something that's really important to think about when you are encouraging your team. Like, oh, what should we do? Really try to think about like 2 things. One, what tiles could only possibly be done by some people, right? Like, love our boy Thormac. He's like base 50s combats. he can't do Theater of Blood. He did go into a fight caves
he would try. Thormac would try. Thormac would say, I'm squadding up with green D hide and a U short bow. I'm going to kick Zarpus' ass. Thormac would do it.
He went into a fight cave because he heard Oxie like, go get your fire cape. Go get your fire cape.
It was a classic example of like, Oxie told someone to go get a fire cape on the show. He joined voice chat. One of you shitters said, hey, Oxie, how's your Infernal Cape grind going? And then I made a comment. I'm like, oh, bold words for someone who barely even has a fire cape. And Thormac was like, well, I don't even have mine. And I sarcastically said, like, all right, then just go get it. Coward, it's easy. Not realizing what his range level was. And he's like, all right. So he just jumped into the fight caves.
Not only did he
wildly unprepared.
Yeah, not only did he go in with like a bone crossbow and like green D hide, he went in with I believe 6 doses of prayer potion and like tunas.
He was like, "This should be fine." We're like, "No."
He got to like into the mid 30s, I think. Anyway. All of this is
because we remember him saying, we're like, and this is where it slows
he was
down.
like, bro, I'm already like halfway there. And we were like, I don't know how to tell you this, Doug, but you're not.
You're going to run out of ammo before you kill these majors. But so our boy Thormac would do it. He would go to Theater of Blood, but he is not going to have a good time in the cage the whole time. And you're probably not going to have a good time doing a scaled Theater of Blood.
So like as a captain, you want to encourage people, but you also don't want to tell them what to do, right? So give them options. Be like, oh, hey, like I looked at your levels, like you could do this, and like I looked at your high scores. I noticed, oh yeah, you've done a lot of, you've got like 100 Zulrah. Maybe you could go send Zulrah. Or like, are there any bosses you want to learn? Like I'll go take you to, oh, we need these. No one's working on these tiles yet. I'll take you to this. You want to learn that. But don't encourage PVM God 99 to go do Obor on the first day, right? Leave that for some of the lower level people. And that you can kind of communicate explicitly. Like, oh, these tiles, let nobody go for these yet, right? We'll probably be able to get those like passively along the week, or people can do that in their downtime. But like these tiles, while we're all together, let's work on those, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, one other little tidbit I wanted to give people. When we're thinking about how to score a tile, like how many points it should be worth, we kind of consider 2 different things. We consider both the difficulty of the content and the length we think it will take to complete the tile. So like, assuming you have people who know how to do it, how long would it take them? And then also, how difficult is it? So, like, some things have kind of extremes one way or the other, right? Like, our Chambers speedrun tile, which was f***ed. We know that now.
It was only f***ed because we had to do it with people on our team. Do you want to explain why it was f***ed?
So, yeah, okay. So, the tile was complete a 5+ person Chambers of Xeric with only members of your team in under 20 minutes, which is very difficult for a variety of reasons. It's extra difficult because in bingo, getting 5 people who can do chambers on at one time is tough. That was really the crux of it. We should have provided times for other scales as well. And I think nobody completed that tile. Is that right?
Yeah, nobody completed it. I think Kyle's team got close. Kyle's team got like 21 minutes. I think our logic behind that was like, well, the master speed time is 15 minutes, so like 20 minutes should be no problem.
Way of figuring out that time. But so that one got a 5 out of 5 for difficulty, but only a 2 out of 5 for time, which was pretty middle of the pack for total of 7. So that was a 3-point tile. No one got it. I think that was the only tile on the board no one got. So like probably pretty poor pointing on our end. But on the other end of the scale, you've got something like the mage training arena tile. That's a 1 out of 5 difficulty, the easiest content, but it takes a while. So it ends up being we put it as a 3 on time. So it's 4 points. It still ended up being a 1 because that was the minimum, but that's longer than something like the BA speedrun, which was complete a full game of Barbarian Assault with only members of your team in under 25 minutes. That one we gave a 3 out of 5 difficulty because we thought that would be kind of difficult, but it's really fast to do. So those are the same score, but they're hard in different ways, right? One of them we expect to take a while, but one of them is kind of skill intensive. So that's just kind of the process of how we point things.
Yeah, it's not all about drop rates
or all about difficulty,
skill levels, So yeah, that is a lot of the background of bingo, tips for captains, the whole rigmarole. If you've never played, sign up. You literally have nothing to lose. Like at the absolute worst, you pay 1 million GP for a buy-in, have a terrible time, and never play again. You're gonna make more than 1 mil back in your time playing old school RuneScape. Best case at this point, the pot is probably gonna be close to like 300 mil. Because we donate Xpwaste, like it's part of what some of the Patreon money goes to, is we purchase bonds to donate for these kinds of events. So it really drives the competitive nature. Plus all the buy-ins go right to bonds because we don't take mod pay. At least not anymore anyways. We've talked about it a lot, and we're finally going to put our money where our mouths are, and TMD and I are going to try to make a tile here.
Go.
But we're not going to show you any of the spreadsheets because there might be a lot of beeps because we're probably going to talk about a lot of other things, which like recording booth chat. If any of these tiles leak, I'll kill Michael. So help me God. I'll hold him over a vat of boiling cheese and make him do PVM. I swear to God. Do not spoil these tiles.
Michael, which part Michael are you here for? The pot of boiling cheese?
He's like, yes.
The biggest thing is I feel like chat is going to have, they can use their intuition to guess a lot of the tiles based on what we don't talk about. Do you have an idea for what you want to start thinking about, Oxie?
Well, did you look over any of the things I added to the Oxie word vomit idea?
Wait, is that different than professional cockmonglers?
No, that is on Professional Cockmonglers, which is unfortunately the name of the sheet we're working with right now. I put it on the King of the Hill tile one.
I hadn't looked there. The other one I was thinking we could maybe refine, even though it's already an idea, is on sheet 1, line 28.
Okay, how do you want to refine that one? Because I really like it as is.
My only thing with that is that's okay. Let's just start talking about it. Or do you not think nah? I guess I think that is way too easy to complete. That's not even me being an elitist PVMer, but there's just a few ways to complete that are extremely trivial, and so I think we either need to like ban those or say like complete 3 of this thing, but they have to be different and they have to be by different people or something along those lines.
Okay, so not including any of the ones that were like
those were already
stipulated.
Yeah.
I think if we bump it up to 3, because the 2 that I'm going to DM you 2 of them right now. Those 2 right there, free as That's 1 minute in a mass world.
The one I said too.
I mean,
that's free
like
Oxie.
But it's also
funny,
like,
but it's
most people are gonna die. Like,
but it doesn't have to be solo, right? That one you can do in a.
Is it?
I think. Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's just it's just get kill credit. So like you can just go as a team.
So maybe if we do 3, that at least makes them go to various locations for it, right?
Yeah.
So I guess should we like at least kind of discuss what we're talking about, because we did say like I don't know. Do we want to do this one or a different?
I wouldn't mind picking a different thing, but we do need to talk
Yeah.
about this one at some point.
So this is okay. Yeah. So this is a little bit of the process that we go through here. We're debating a title. We actually asked members of the admin team, so like the Max Capes and the officers, to like suggest some tile ideas, and we got some suggestions, and we're talking about one right now that we really like. And I am. If you guys haven't been able to figure it out, I have quite the flair for the dramatic. And I'm naming the tiles again, whether they want me to or not.
Yeah.
And we're naming the tiles after the people that suggest them. In some way, their names will be featured somewhere in like an Easter egg in the tile name if they suggest it, and we like send it, or they send what. Because TMD, I know you're looking at 2 of them right now that it's like very obvious. Yeah. So.
And then one other one that we want to do, but we haven't acted upon yet. I think that we should, and we can talk about it here, Oxie, is in some way getting a tile from the community. Whether it's through a poll, or we had talked about doing a contest, and like the winner of the contest would get to pick one. I think it's maybe a little late for that, but we could honestly, we could like make a new channel, put it on slow mode, say suggest one tile, the 5 with the most emojis get put on a poll, and then we poll everybody or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could pull that off, because I think part of that's a lot of fun, is getting people involved.
Yeah.
You know, I think the issue I have with that, if any, is that people are going to suggest something that may or may not be already on the board.
Sure.
But you know,
that's fine. We can just attribute it to them on the main board.
Okay.
I don't think it's a huge deal if it
they'll never have to know.
Exactly. They'll never know that we already had that idea. Because again, I mean, this is something we run into in every bingo, is there's only so much content in the game, right? Like, people know all of the Slayer bosses are going to be on there somehow. People know that all the raids are going to be on there somehow. People know that, you know, there's only so many.
I hate to spoil, but like,
there's gonna be
bingo
a God Wars
without
tile.
like what bingo without Zulrah is actually a bingo.
Yeah.
Like, surely there are some things that are staples of these kinds of events, and if you're a veteran bingo player, you know this. Yeah. But we'd like to add some. There are some tiles on here that are like, man,
Oof,
I don't know who thought of this, but it's gonna be great.
And then we also have issues. There's a bunch of tiles that we would love to do, but there's no way to verify them. Like one we wanted to do last year was like Stardust from Shooting Stars. We wanted to say like either get 10k Stardust or talk about the tile we teased in the announcements trailer. Sure, yeah, we can do that. But yeah, we wanted to get like, get 10k Stardust, or like get enough Stardust to buy the ring or whatever. But Stardust isn't tracked in the collection log. The ring doesn't track dupes in the collection log. And so you just start to, it's annoying enough to verify that we just can't do it at some point. I'm looking at you, people who try to like stack things ahead of time for bingo. You are the reason why we can't do some of my favorite content in bingo realistically. Everybody, I'm looking at you, Hyla, who has hundreds of medium clue caskets stacked, and so we just can't do clues because it's not fun. So stuff like that where people can just like stack a ton of it ahead of time, like you can't really do it. You could, but then like half of the teams are just gonna have it done like in 1 second. We had talked about different ways you can do that. Like oh, you can make them track getting the clue scroll drop and then opening it. But it's like, yeah, but then you've got 8 trillion things. You can have 20 fire capes for the pet rolls if you want, but like, first of all, I hope you have better things to do with your time. And 2, like, you're gonna, if there's a pet tile, your team's gonna probably get it passively at some point anyway. And if not, you can just grind out Chaos Ellie. Grind out Chaos Ellie is actually really fun as a team. We went with like 5 people with crossbows, and you just go bap bap bap, and then you hop worlds and you go bap bap bap, and that's a good time. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that are stackable that like we're gonna do anyway. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say them because then people will start to stack them. But like, you run out of content if you're like, well, you can't stack anything. And then there's stuff that's questionable. Like, are we gonna get mad at people for stacking ecumenical keys? Well, no, not really. I mean, that you should. If you're listening to me, if you've gotten an hour and 20 minutes into this podcast, go get ecumenical keys before bingo. There's gonna be a God Wish tile. There's always a God Wish tile. You don't want to be getting KC at Arma or Sarah while your teammates are like having fun. So go get your EQ keys. Just do it. And that's like a good thing to do mid bingo when no one else is on too. Just replenish them. Oxie's gone, by the way, is why I'm still just talking without Oxie. I usually I run out of things to say, but Oxie has left me to my own devices, and that's why I couldn't come up with anything dumb to say. I went on a rant against people stacking clue boxes though, Oxie, because I love clues and we can't really do clues because too many people are stacking them.
Which like isn't a bad thing for account progression. It does affect game integrity.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And like other bingos will do like they'll explicitly say you can't stack items. But like how are you gonna police that? I don't know.
You don't. So then the players with a moral compass
are at
feel conflicted and like at a disadvantage. And then like, you know, people who are like, f it, they can't prove it.
Yeah. He's going yabba dabba doo. There, okay, that's very similar. Scooby Dooby Doo, yabba dabba doo.
Wow. Speaking of being able to plan a tile properly, bro. Speaking
of changing the subject,
being an absolute mumpty. Speaking of changing the subject,
the amount of times we said that on the trivia episode.
You guys just missed a pretty decent exchange where the entire time Michael said Scooby Doo the goddamn podcast because we just got very easily distracted. Most of that was cut out though.
Scooby Doo the goddamn podcast.
That's the title of the episode right there, baby. So have you thought of any sort of like additional PVM tiles or additional activity tiles that you think would be fun? Because that's one thing that while this is at the end of the day a PVM bingo, it's a lot more than PVM. We call it a PVM bingo because that's how we get away with our harder tiles that are PVM specific, PVM centric, if you will. But you know, we still have mini games and all sorts of brouhaha on there.
Yeah.
So
So Tyler suggested a Slayer points tile. My issue, it's not out of the question. My issue with the Slayer points tile is the best way to get Slayer points is f***ing boring, which is Turiel boosting. So you do 9 really, really, really easy tasks at Turiel, and then you go to Konar or maybe Duradel for your 10th task. And you do that ad nauseum, and that's pretty boring in my opinion. You could also do Wildy Slayer, I guess, but it's just kind of boring.
And there's no way to be like Turiel and Spria are not allowed, because at that point then we have to like track every single Slayer task that all 200 people get, and that's just not feasible. Nor is it fun for us or the players.
Yeah.
Like, get a fire cape. Hold on. THG Bang says, get a fire cape on a display phone in an Apple store. If there was a way that we could prove that, that would be fucking hysterical. I would be too sketched out to be able to like log into my account. So like I'd have to break protocol and do it on my Iron Man. You imagine just like sitting there for an hour on your group Iron Man hunched over.
And they're like,
the Apple Store just placed in
or leave. And you're
like, shut up. I'm on double mage. We're almost done.
Yeah. God damn it.
Like, dude, that would be. I don't want to encourage you guys to do that because you guys are probably going to get in trouble.
I will.
All I need is a screenshot of you guys playing RuneScape on a display phone at an Apple store. King shit.
Make sure you log. Like, make sure you remove your credentials if you do that when you're done.
Yeah, honest to God, like that's too sketchy.
Speaking of dumb tiles, I've always had a couple that I've tried to do, but either
TMD'S tiles are awful. I'm sorry.
So okay,
like,
go ahead.
No. I'm gonna give some context,
but I want to
here.
explain why.
Scape and I are the PVMers. When we plan these events, Scape and I, we talk raids, we talk nightmare, we talk all this sorts of stuff. Michael, king of the skill, he comes in and he's like, well, what if we upped the wood cutting from 100k to like 500k? Because like, f them, they can cut trees. You know, like he is very realistic about what skilling tiles can get done. And he's very realistic about if a tile is too hard, he's like, that's far too difficult. Like, that's far too stupid. We have a really good balance. TMD is like off the top rope with like, what if we made him buy the entire Castle Wars collection log? We're like, TMD will kill you. Why do we like please
ones I came up with last time that ended up going through were like, obtain 400 mermaid tiers, which is enough to buy a merfolk trident. Stuff like that. I think the BA speedrun might have been me. That's actually a good
It
one.
was you.
See, so a little bit of explanation of why I do dumb shit like that is because it's twofold. One is, frankly, we need a little bit out of the box tiles. Otherwise, it gets boring for us and it gets boring for people who've done this a bunch. Two is, I really, really think, to a larger degree than our co-moderators, that one of the best aspects of bingo is exposing people to new content. And when it's your first bingo, that means taking people to DKs, taking people on their first raid, and that's awesome. It really is. I love that. But I also want there to be new shit for people who this is their 5th or 6th bingo. Because how many people have gotten fucking mermaid tiers? Not very many. And so I want to try to keep coming up with even just one or two things that like a bingo veteran is going to be like, what? Excuse me? And
yeah, while also not being like objectively shitty.
Yeah.
You know?
Because yeah, like if we put the Castle Wars one on there, that's not fun. Best
we talked about that, and it's not good.
It's not fun. There's first of all, there's a like strict minimum time limit on that because it's 20 minutes per game. You can get 3 tickets. So you can do the exact math on how long it's going to take. There's no way to speed it up. It's not fun. There's some ways to speed it up. You can like join a game like a small part of the way through and get a little whatever. Not important. That's not fun. That's not interesting. That's nothing good. And so while there's nothing wrong with like, hell yeah, go to raids, go to night, go to all these places. I love that. We're already going to have those tiles. We know we're going to have those tiles. Like right now, we don't necessarily have
maybe. You know, we'll
sure,
see.
Not every single one, but like
we'll consider it.
We will at least discuss them for sure, right? But no one else is going to bring up. So here's another one that is unfortunately not doable. I've really looked into it. Is Gnome Ball. I wanted to see if you could do like most gnome ball points scored in X amount of time, or like speed run a gnome ball game, shit like that. It's dumb, it's silly, and unfortunately there's no good way to track it. I don't even know if it would be good if there was a way to track it, but like stuff like that, I'm just always trying to think of like random horse shit that like people probably haven't done, but that I think might actually make a good tile. There's a lot of things people don't do, and most of them are dog shit. But every once in a while, there's things people haven't done, and I think they could make a good tile.
And while I will say the ideas are off the chain, dumb as shit, and often ones that we would never ever logically suggest ever, because who in the world wants to? It's not the point. It does add a different layer of the, like, you know, off the top rope, but also somehow sliding into the fray very evenly and just moving along with like PVM skilling whatever the TMD's doing over in the corner.
Tyler, I've long contended that we should have Trouble Brewing be our tiebreaker for a bingo. If there's ever two teams who are exactly tied at the end, we have them do a fucking sudden death Trouble Brewing, because Trouble Brewing is actually an okay minigame, but everybody hates it because you have to do it for the fucking Mauritania diary and nobody plays it, so you have to fucking like get an ald or get somebody to just stand there for 20 minutes. Soapbox ended. Trouble Brewing's actually all right. People just hate it because you have to do it.
I mean, it's nobody does it.
Yeah.
There's no benefit outside of cosmetic, and at that point, all the cosmetics are tradable, correct? So
no, I don't think so.
I mean, because it's not a population, so clearly whatever they did was something wrong. Whatever it didn't carry over well enough into the main game, once players needed to like you have to do it for the diary, but like,
I mean, every minigame is dead if it does not have useful rewards.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. If the people do not play Soul Wars because people certainly do not play Pest Control because they love Pest Control, right? People play Pest Control because they want Void. People don't do Barbasalt because they love Barbasalt. People do Barbasalt because they hate themselves.
And they need their diaries
done. And they need their diaries done, and they need their fighter.
And they need the second best in slot melee body that is free. Get your goddamn fighter torso.
Man, forgot Torva existed.
Second best in slot. Yeah.
I mean,
second.
Are you?
It's got the same strength bonus as BCP, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but it's still worse. It does have the same strength bonus, but it's still worse than a BCP.
Defensive stats.
And prayer.
I look at the defensive stats.
It's also worse than Inquiz.
Defensive stats.
I think it has better defense than Inquiz, but all right, let's talk about bingo tiles. Jesus Christ. So, okay, this is good actually that we don't have any ideas, because then we can kind of walk people through how we figure out tiles when we, from scratch. So like looking at our board that we have right now without revealing too much, we really don't have much in the wildy. So let's start thinking about wildy bosses.
I love me some wildy bosses.
I know you do. And you have a certain co-host who has to get his wildy boss KC up.
I do, and his corrupted gauntlet KC up as well for all of you September extra episode enjoyers.
That's true.
Don't think I forgot about that, Michael.
The
recording booth chat is like, no thanks, we're good. Please, no wilderness. Tough shit, guys. What's in the wilderness?
Eat shit.
So
go ahead.
The one thing I know you said you wanted to avoid, because I never seem to have a problem with it, but you trifling bitches always do, is the wildy ring.
Yeah.
You guys really hate the wildy ring tile.
They're not my favorite. The biggest reason I don't like it is because first of all, I usually don't like specific drops that are.
He's very adamantly against specific drops
most of the time, especially if the boss can drop multiple things, right? Like if you're doing Sarachnis, the only Sarachnis drop really is the cudgel, or at least like it's the most common rare drop that he has. That so I don't mind.
If there's a cudgel tile, it's not like you guys suck, because it's like, all right, it's a 1 in 380 something from the boss that has a jar that's like 1 in 2K, exactly. And a pet that's like 1 in 3K.
But if you're like Vikings bingo and you say the only drop from rune dragons that counts is like the rune crossbow or the dragon limbs or something. If you get a DFS, go yourself. If you get a dragon metal slice, go yourself. That's not fun.
Nothing makes me more irritated than like specific clue uniques make me want to scream.
I get it when it's like
if it's like no, like okay, even ranger boots are like seriously, dude. Like if it's gross. Any medium clue boot, any Bob the Cat shirt, any god rune, any 3 god rune items, Guthix helm, Zammy body, Sarah legs, like sure, Goodnight Reclinatus. Go for it. That's fine. When it's like obtain the old boot helmet from whatever tier clue scroll that comes from. Like either I have to grind a shitload of PVM that I like have to do to get clue scrolls if I get them, or I have to spend an excessive amount of money on Imblinks. Yeah. Like either way, specific tiles are bad.
Yeah. All right,
they're not all bad, but we open up a lot of issues.
We want there to be a good reason for there to be a specific. Except apparently our fucking God Wars tile last year. Interesting starting point for a tile. Because there's some wield. Well, is there any wieldy stuff involved in that? But I was thinking about like we could pick a few master stash units and make people get those items. Like you can pick between.
Okay, all right.
So like the one that I was thinking,
master.
There's one that's D-Med, Obby Shield, Rune Plate Body, Brian Saber, Amulet of Glory.
That is so much shit.
Another couple that could be interesting. Amulet of the Damned plus Arclight. So you could make them get 3 Ancient Shards plus an Amulet of the Damned.
Okay. It's got potential.
This one's really gross. Dragon 2H, Bandos, Boots, Obby Cape. That's pretty gross.
It wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't a specific GWD.
Yeah.
Because as we know, those are kind of ass. And like the one thing I want to avoid, like there's, the one that's like Bandos Plate Body, Bandos Cloak, Bandos Godsword. Could be fun to make like a Bandos Boy tile. Again, specific clue uniques are a big no thanks from me.
I agree. My only issue with the first one, which I do think has probably the most potential, is Obby Shield. I mean, that's not that bad.
It's like 1 in what, 400?
Well,
right?
you can fucking barrage.
Yeah, you can barrage them right outside the Inferno. Like it's really easy. Nothing drops in Nezzy Helm, or else that's a really good tile. Because the hole at Soul, the Soul Altar with the Dragon Pick, the Nezzy Helm, and the Rune Boots.
I mean, at that point, that's
but nothing.
D-pick tile, which is
it's just Dragon Pickaxe. Yeah,
Rune Boots are pretty trivial. One I had thought of that's kind of. It sounds interesting, and then you think about it, and it's not. Is one of every Slayer boot. So like bronze up through dragon. But then you realize
that's a lot of screenshots.
It's a lot of screenshots. And like it's not difficult at all. It's not interesting.
It's tedious.
It's just
it's like if the monsters that drop these boots were actually hard to kill, I would consider maybe doing it. If it was like Alchemical Hydra dropped dragon boots or Cerberus dropped dragon boots, Sure, because not only is there a Slayer level, there's also a skill mechanic that goes into it. It's engaging in some way or another. But literally, if you can't do that tile, it's because you haven't put in the hours for Slayer.
Yeah.
I wish there was a better way to like get some of these items, because like there's one in the elite tier that is Shazian plate body, farmer's straw hat, and pyromancer robe.
Yeah.
Which again is a good spread of content that a
recently.
lot of people can do. But the Shazian plate body, does it drop, or does it just like end up in your inventory? It
drops. And you can get it as a dupe. I mean, at that point, you could just say like, get a farmer's straw hat. We could skip that one if we want. Like, skip the Shazian if you wanted.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I think right now
that is a guaranteed drop once you.
The one thing we do have to check is in line 10. Okay, so never mind. We're good. Line 10 of the spreadsheet, I was concerned, but we're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't be super opposed to that.
What do we call this tile? Hole? Because that's what the stash unit is a hole, on Lava Dragon Isle.
Oh wait. Oh, you mean the master one? I was thinking I thought you were still talking about the other one. The elite.
No.
Did we ever
No, that's a crate.
Yeah. I love line 11. See, that's one of my ideas. That's
line 11 is good. Line 11 is a you, my name's TMD tile.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, like, we're gonna make a board. It's gonna be aesthetically pleasing. We're not gonna like give you guys an Excel spreadsheet. We will give you an Excel spreadsheet for like, logical purposes, right?
Yeah.
Like if you want to leave notes for your team, or if you want to like sort things yourself, you can do that. But we're gonna make a real board. Like we always make a real board. We always describe tiles like. Michael gets back on the 20th, so I think we have to start the board.
No, it's not gonna look very good.
I mean, if Michael has one job throughout the time he gets back, it should be working on the board, and we'll just do everything else.
So that stash unit. So I mean, first of all, does anything other than Dragon Implings drop an Amulet of Glory? No. So we don't make them get that. Because there's no way to track that, I believe. I don't think that shows up. Plus, people could just buy jars. People could just buy jars.
Yeah.
So just don't make them get
even
that.
a Dragonstone Amulet.
Yep. Just don't make them drop that. Or don't make them get that.
Okay, it's not dropped by it. Dragonstone Amulet U is also not dropped by anything, and
so
at that point, it's not worth it to do the Dragonstone.
When Deranged Archaeologist first came out, it dropped. Did it drop Amulets of Glory? Or did it drop Dragonstone Amulets? Let me check. But people lost their minds. They were like, I had to get 80 crafting. I had to get 83 hunter. And so Jagex was like, chill out. And so they made it drop a crystal key instead of
Imagine catering to Iron Man.
I mean, it was kind of anti-catering to Iron Man. Yeah, it used to drop glories.
Imagine listening to Iron Man. God, I'm so mean.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Tyler keeps talking about crystal chest.
Yeah, he said in the crystal chest. Does it actually do that?
Doesn't. But so he keeps talking about keys and crystal chest. The reason he keeps talking about those is our team. Well, my teams have a tradition where we save up all of the crystal shards we get throughout bingo. And then at the end of bingo, we use our winnings to buy like crystal keys and then also stuff to turn into shards. and we open the enhanced crystal chest as many times as we can. And Tyler has a problem. He needs to be stopped. People think they removed gambling from the game when they got rid of the duel arena, and those people are incorrect because enhanced crystal chests still exist.
Yeah.
And we did it at the end of last bingo, and Tyler was spending like... So Tyler had no crystal shards. He had like only recently gotten to Prif at the time, which is honestly kind of dope. And he was like doing content in Prif for the first time. A lot of the content in Prif for the first time during the last bingo. So he was buying crystal weapon seeds, normal crystal weapon seeds. And he also didn't have the crafting levels, I think it is, to make enhanced crystal keys himself. So he had to spend extra shards to get them made by an NPC. This man was spending like 200k a pop to open these enhanced crystal chests. And you usually get like 40k back. And he was just down bad. Down incredible. But we'll do it again. We're winning this time. If Oxie
I don't know about all that.
If Oxie drafts Tyler in like the second round, so I can't have him, I'm gonna be so mad.
I love Tyler to death. I also know how much you love him, so I don't know if I would draft him. But I don't need my teammates spending all of their available
at the
GP
end,
on
Oxie,
gambling.
at the end.
So
it's fine.
I mean, I don't know. He might try to sabotage me and be like, "Well, I kind of like TMD better." So he'd just be like, "Dudum," you know, spend all his money like
he
it's
would
nothing.
relish the opportunity to beat me. Anyway, that's enough talking about random dumb shit we do.
Yeah. I kind of like that tile, you know, the lava dragon, and funny enough, it is in the wilderness.
It is in the wilderness. I'm not like inspired by it. It's not my favorite tile you've ever made.
I mean, it's weird enough to put on there, but
it's a pretty easy one. Cause like TMD'S you can get from wherever. Do we make him get a rune plate body or nah? What everything drops rune plate bodies.
It's more of a pain in the ass for us to manage the additional screenshots.
Yeah, I say we...
But technically the captains are going to manage them,
yeah.
so...
I say we don't make them do that. I say we just get TMD, Obby Shield, Brian Saber.
Is it super toxic to make them get a boater? Like any boater from medium clues?
No, but... Because, like,
okay.
Split Bark Body is super easy from
Fnatic, and then Shield left half is
super easy from Gorax.
Yeah.
I didn't hate that elite one, the Farmer's Straw Hat Pyromancer robe.
That's a specific Wintertod unique that
you
if
get 'em
people
in order,
already.
No, you don't get them in order. I was thinking you got the outfit pieces in order, but you don't.
No, and I think another issue is like if you have 3 of them, you just get like spirit seeds.
Well, you just turn them in. That's on you at that point.
People are weird. Yeah, people are weird. What can you do? That is a big thing. It's just sometimes we have to say f
we do.
Them. Like if we try to cater to everyone, the event is never going to begin. You know, it's just not going to happen. So sometimes you just have to say fuck them.
We could all look. This one could be interesting. It does interfere with one of the lines we already talked about, but it's not a big deal. We could do the Warriors Guild Bank one. So Dragon Battle Axe, Dragon Defender, Slayer Helm. So just be get a Black Mask, get a Dragon Defender, get a Dragon Battle Axe. Because we never really do Black... is Black Mask part of...
Does anybody want to go back and get an additional Dragon Defender?
It could... yeah. I was going to say it could be good for anyone who's lower level and hasn't gotten a Dragon Defender, but...
I mean, let's check the signups, because like we got that kind of clout. We can do that.
True.
Fall Bingo 22, Fall Bingo sign-up sheet. 185 responses. Hey, 93 cooking. Look at that. I'm gaming. Of the items, let's see here. Of the items, 185 people signed up. 182 of them have Dragon Defenders.
All right. Well,
it is the most obtained item. It's actually, of all the ones that we put that are optional, it is the highest, period. It is more completed than all of the quests, and it is more obtained than any other item that is on the list, including Barrow's gloves. So
good work.
I am not, for real, good work. I am not.
Yeah, I'm fine with not doing that.
Super keen on on people doing it, but just because, like, God, it is boring, and it is also super demotivating to like go 2,000 tokens without getting it. It would be nice for the people who have 99 attack to finally use that cape perk.
Just have 99 attack forehead.
We actually have a nearly even split. We have more yeses than nos. This is more people's first time in a bingo than it is returning. So,
God, that means there's
the
like
the stats of the sign up is insane.
Yep.
Like, we've never seen an event this size. And I said, I'm like, oh, maybe it'll be like 200 people. And I don't know who I was talking to. Like, no, it's not going to hit 200. We're at 185. Yeah. So we are cruising through this.
We had a bit of a lull like a week in, because most of the signups usually happen within the first couple days. But we had a bit of a lull like a week in. We were like 110, 120. I was like, maybe we won't get as many people as I thought. And then they've just been rolling in like 10 a day. To where, like 185, like you said.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're hearing this and you haven't signed up, like Oxie said earlier, when this comes out, there's 1 day left to sign up. So go do it right now. Do it right now. If you try to sign up late, unless you have an airtight, unless you said, I've been in a coma for 2 months and I just woke up on today, October 15th, we're not going to let you in. We love you. Smooches, we love you. We're not going to do it. You can come to the next bingo. You can come to all of our other events. But like, we got enough going on a week before bingo. I'm sorry. We got to cut it off at some point. You've had a lot of leeway. We're not going to let you in if you try to sign up late. Yeah.
So I don't hate the stash unit idea. I mean, I think
I'm not in love with it.
It's really easy for the master one, and it kind of sucks balls for this specific pyromancer piece.
And like barraging.
Oh damn! You buy. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. There's one of them in the elites here where it takes a pirate bandana. I thought that was a Trouble Brewing unique. I'm like, oh, TMD, it's happening. We're putting Trouble Brewing on the board, but no, you buy it.
Damn. I had to do that Farmer's Straw Hat one recently, by the way. And it made me think of how
I still thankfully have not, because I think I've done Tithe Farm for maybe 4 minutes on my main account. So
did you do it during leagues? I know that was like a meta at one point.
It was, but like, you think I paid attention to that? Fair. Like, what I was doing in leagues was probably not what you should be doing in the main game.
Yeah. Also, Oxie didn't even notice that I got 97 crafting SMH.
Oh, did you?
I GZ'd him on 93 cooking.
Oh, shitter alert.
GZ me on 97.
I'm just going to say GZ, and whoever takes that is theirs. Like, go for it.
Fair.
I also don't pay a ton of attention to clan chat sometimes, especially when I'm recording. Like,
yeah, like I'm also not in love with this one. Ooh,
monkey.
I just got inspired by one that was on the list there. It's all right, Oxie. Bad ideas only. Stop me before I hurt myself. Get every combination staff.
Oh. OSRS Combination staff.
There are
Combination.
2 that you should think of right away.
I was gonna say there are the 2 that I'm thinking of. Are the mist battle staff or the dust battle staff and the steam battle staff.
No, Steam's
it's either
because it's 1 in 127.
okay, a specific unique from God Wars dungeon.
It's 1 in 127. That's fine.
Or I mean, so are Banjo's tacits. And you bitched about those constantly.
They're 1 in 381.
All pieces are 1 in 381. It equates to 1 in 127. That's how that works.
It's 1 in 127 to get a Bandos armor piece. The Steam battle staff is 1 in 127 to get a Steam battle staff.
Still sucks.
I know.
So does the not 1 but potentially 2 Superior Slayer monster
Oxie,
drops.
don't look at me and tell me you didn't know that you could get a mist battle staff at a 1 in 3,000 drop rate from Water Fiends.
Superior Slayer monster.
I didn't know it was 1 in 3,000.
Like,
I thought it was 1 in 1,000, and I was like,
you can't kill Water Fiends off
kill 1,000.
The only
Water
place
Fiends.
you can, the only place you can kill them off task is like in the little hole with the mithril dragons.
Yo,
it's not worth it.
It is in the waterfall or in the what's that place called?
Waterfall? No,
Ancient Cavern. I wanted to call it the Waterfall Cavern.
Close enough.
Yo, we can use those bludgeons we bought though. They're weak to crush.
We had back in the day during Springo 2021, which was only like 20 people who played, mind you. Was it? Yeah, it was 21 because there was only like 3 teams of like 7, I think. We had a Superior Slayer unique on there, and that was such a grindy tile. I think the team I was on, we got the tile done, but I think Kyle stayed up until 6 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, and I think my team earned like 5 or 6 million Slayer XP in a week.
One other like general philosophy for tiles that we do not like is tiles that are not grindable like in a specific way or at a specific place. Like a superior
Zulrah tile, you do Zulrah a million times over and over again. You're never guaranteed a Superior Slayer monster.
Yeah. Or like even stuff like Skatizo we generally don't love because like it's just like do a bunch of Catacomb Slayer. Or like Curved Bone isn't really fun. I know we've definitely had that in the past, but like what are you going to do to get a better chance at a Curved Bone? Nothing. It's 1 in 5,000 from everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, damn near.
So stuff like that where it's like there's no way to like grind. It's the same with pets too. I don't love pet tiles. We often have them just because it's like then it's hype that you got a pet, but like especially if you exclude the places where it's super easy to get a pet, like Chompy Chick, like Skotizo, like Chaos Ellie. We usually allow Chaos Ellie, but forego the other two.
That's why we allow
Chaos Ellie because it's
so
grindable.
That it's not. I mean, like at the end of the day, most like a bingo where people don't get pets just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
but a
bingo people get pets in bingo.
The last tile your team needs is a pet, and they've excluded all the easy ones. So it's like, I guess go kill whatever boss you want. You're not gonna get the tile, but like eat shit for the last 36 hours. So stuff that isn't grindable at a specific place, we usually don't like unless we have a good reason for it. That being said, Miss Battle Staff or bust.
I
don't hate that. What if we put the other 4 though, like the 4 that aren't from superiors? So lava, mud.
I'd like to refer
I know.
Okay, so I don't need to say it out loud.
So probably not, but that's an interesting.
I mean, I mean, in addition to 11, there's also
I know.
17 as well.
Yeah.
Because it also conflicts with
Yeah.
that. So
What about this is kind of a ooh. Yeah, you can. What about get a skull scepter?
that's super free. It shows up as an untradeable drop
Yeah.
on the floor. So
I mean, it's 4 pieces, so we've got 4 screenshots, but it's a low level tile, but
it's an easy 1-pointer to fill out the
yeah.
board.
And
I'm gonna put it on there.
And kind of like
Skull Scepter?
kind of in line with part of why I wanted to do the mage training arena last time was like it's just good, like, not inspiration. I guess inspiration's the word. Good motivation
to do account progression.
Well, yeah, and it's a diary thing. So it's good motivation to get your fucking diary done, you mumpties. It's free money
Mumpty
getting your
alert.
Varrock diary
Honestly.
done. Buy your battle stabs every day. Oxie.
What? I of course buy my
Oxie
what?
does not buy his battle stabs. He also does not know how Miscellanea works. Ask him how Miscellanea works. He does not know.
I think you made me put money in it the
Have
other
you
day.
checked it since then?
I don't know.
Ayo.
But you can
Free
bet your
money.
ass I also haven't been back to like obtain favor
Yeah,
from
sure.
those bastards. Whatever.
Free money. Let's go
Whatever.
check it. Don't let Oxie discourage you. I love Chambers. And you want to know a little secret? When it's a late night mod raid with the boys, I think Oxie likes Chambers deep down in his heart. He loves to have something to complain about, and boy does he love complaining about Chambers of Zarek. It's a good time.
So back to the matter at hand.
Yes.
Chamber sucks. No, back to the matter at hand. Bingo tiles. So we have the Skull Scepter idea, right? That's floating out there in the ether. We have the Master Stash unit that's floating out in the ether. As far as wilderness content goes, because I know you kind of talked, we don't have a very wildy heavy board, which is a travesty in itself. Yes. We have run a wilderness only bingo. Yeah. So we're real aware of like what is possible in a wilderness bingo.
Do we still have
what I think might be interesting?
Wait, I guess we've got number 20. I forgot
over 20 tiles.
No, we have row 20. I forgot about that one.
Oh yeah, and then surely like the Wildy Classic.
Which one?
But yeah. I'm gonna bleep that out just for fun. Fair. But let's look at like combat tasks. So if you look at like praying to the gods,
that one could be fun.
If you know, we've got praying to the gods. We've got what's the other one for Crazy Arc? I'd rather not learn.
You could do the Scorpio one. That's just like,
what is the Scorpio
like just
one?
Don't
is
take
there
damage or something? Or like kill
all
her
the Scorpio
while
ones.
Her minions are froze, something like that.
Yeah, there's really Scorpio has 4, and it's Guardians no more. Kill Scorpio without killing her guardians. I can't reach that. Kill Scorpio without taking damage.
They're not that.
So we could have like the combat wilderness combat prowess. Ooh. And it's just like those 3
what about
combat achievements specifically.
If we,
because the big bosses don't have any.
What if we made one that was get Guardians no more and I can't reach that in the same kill?
It's very possible.
Is that too annoying?
That's very possible.
Because without killing Guardians,
because we don't say you have to do it. We don't have to do it solo.
That's wait.
So you could have more than one person there, just like dumping ice barrage and saying, and like, could you imagine the shadow on Scorpia?
That's probably too easy then, though.
Like, obtain every wilderness.
So I had also thought about like a. Ooh, what about like what drops in this Wildy Slayer caves now? And like Trover parchment and shit.
Let's see. OSRS Shrover Parchment.
Because I was thinking about like Laren's keys, maybe.
Oh
It's
man,
really rare, I know.
it's bad.
How
It's a
bad?
1 in 1207 from a neck reel, and that's the
Ooh.
highest drop rate. That's bad, dog.
Yeah. What about like Laren's keys? No. Hear me out. What if we made it get a 300k Laren's key chest? Because then that's any of the Dagon Highs, or a high roll on Dragon Arrow tips, or a high roll on Dragon Dart tips, or any Dragon Fruit Tree Seed, or a high roll on Celastrius, or a high roll on Magic. That's probably getting it down to like 1 in 30 at that point. What do you think, though, Oxie?
I think we might have to adjust it to 200 or 250.
Nah, because 200 or 250 is like free.
What do you mean? 200 is all of what you said plus steel bars, sharks, runite or magic logs and snapdragon seeds. If we make it 250, we literally just add snapdragon seeds to that.
So, but then it becomes like any Dragon Arrow tips, which by itself is 1 out of 15. So we're already 1 out of 15 plus other shit, right? Then it's, depending on price, any magic seed.
Like,
any
okay,
Celestial.
do you want the reality of it that probably 160 of the 185 people that signed up are not confident in the wilderness? That don't want wilderness tiles, that are actively saying, "I don't get me wrong, I'm all for f them," right? You know, that's a soundbite we need right there.
Is a good little taste, of what the wilderness has to offer.
I mean, I understand that we could have him get 1 redwood tree seed. That would be funny as shit. Get a single redwood tree seed from Laren's Key. That's the stupidest tile I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Get a redwood tree seed or get Dagon High.
Oh, so gross, dog. Like, you know, I mean, if we wanted to be shitty, we could say any seed drop.
I mean, that's still like 1 in 8.
It's not great. Yeah.
It's not bad. That's really easy.
Yeah, it's really like, I don't know. It's a tough spot because y'all are cowards who are afraid of the wilderness. But at the same time, we want it to be enjoyable for y'all. You know, what does Laren's small chest drop?
Nothing. It's so dumb.
Small chest?
It literally
drops dog shit,
nobody
dude.
opens
Oh my
Laren's
god.
small chest. It's literally just, it's less deep in the wildy. That's it.
You can still get 500k from...
Sure, but...
You can actually get over 300k from dart tips, arrow tips, and dragon fruit tree seeds. Holy shit. So you can make money. Don't do it.
Get an unknown amount of manta rays. That's how little data there.
Okay, Tyler brought it up. I'd rather get a drop from Vorkath than get a drop from the Wildy. I don't think Vorkath will ever be on our board.
Vorkath sucks.
Vorkath is one of the worst tiles to put on a board ever. Yeah. So at the moment, we're between 3 tiles. We're at the Laren's chest at X amount. I'm actually going to put that Laren's at X $. So we know like Laren's chest at some value. I still think a little bit lower, but I'm not going to die on a hill against 300k. I still think 250 to add another drop wouldn't be terrible. But because like you could also get cucked on some of these. Yeah. Like the bare minimum is dragon arrow tips, but like, you know, if you get 3 magic seeds, that's 245k and you don't get it. Like
we could do Trover Parchment or Looting Bag Note. We could also start to include Magic Shortbow Scroll and Ring of Wealth Scroll, but then you're starting to get, I think, too easy.
We're not. Absolutely Absolutely not. I'm not putting a 1 in 1,200 wilderness drop on there. I don't even want to go for that.
Fine.
I'm the least afraid of the wilderness of anyone you know, and I don't want to attempt
Maybe
that tile.
Jamie.
Like, that just... Well, okay, yeah. Jamie does have a...
Honestly,
other than Jamie.
Probably too fast, too. I don't think anything scares him except human interaction.
Human interaction and volcanic mine. He did do some VM. He got the mining pet from VM the other day.
Oh my god. TMD does not.
You know what scares him? Rune crafting. Rune crafting scares him. The only reason why he's at VM is for TOA.
Funny enough, Tyler, people hated the VM tile.
Yeah, people really didn't like that tile at all. But
they're all wrong, obviously. But
so we're in between these 3 tiles right now. We still have a lot of tiles to plan because I believe at the moment we're talking a 6x6 board.
Are we?
Maybe. On my drive home, I'm like, frick. Maybe we do 7x7.
No,
just because there are so many people signed up. TMD Springo was 120. We're almost at 200.
We really don't. I mean, how many captains do we have? Not that many.
We have like 16 tops, and I don't even know if we're not gonna worry about that live on the show.
I know, but I just look.
But so we're back and forth between 3 tiles, right? We've got Skull Scepter potentially, Master Stash Unit potentially, and Laren's keys at certain amounts potentially. So potentially, you trifling bitches have not gotten 2 tiles. You've gotten potentially 4. 1 King of the Hill at the beginning of the episode, like 2.5 hours ago, and potentially 3 real tiles. Yeah. Potentially. So you guys have gotten way more than you were bargained for today. Way more.
You better up your Patreon subscription for that. Or whatever.
I don't know about all that, but you know,
I do.
You're not gonna get. I'm not the one you bribe for this kind of thing, so it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I really like the Skull Scepter. I know that's a pretty low level one, but I don't think we've done that before.
Yeah, it's a little anticlimactic, but I think of the 3, it's our probably most stable one.
I think it should definitely be on there. I think the other 2 have potential, and I think number 28 we gotta refine. But I
think we just increase the number for 28.
Sure.
I think we up it from 1 to 3 because then, like, if you do 3 free ones. The issue is what I DM'd you earlier with 28, and it's kind of shitty to just like say no to that because the one that I didn't include is actually fairly difficult.
Yeah.
So like we're not gonna worry about that. We're not gonna spoil that one for you.
Yeah.
You guys don't get that. You get a lot of the numbers you're referring to are tiles that are most definitely going on the board in some way, shape, or form, but just need to be played with a little bit. So.
Anything else you want to talk about right now about bingo?
Frankly, no.
Fair.
I think we have gone over our like quote unquote requirements. I think we've gone over our expectations. I will say, captains, you're going to be expected to do a little bit more this time around because it was a shit show trying to manage the screenshots last time. So we're going to be requesting the captains. They already know this. The captains are already established by this point.
By the time this episode comes out.
Yeah, come on. Think in the future, TMD. Captains, you guys know who you are, capable, well-deserving. You're aware of what you have to do, which is manage your team's screenshots for us to verify. Even if you just put them in a nice little package, like an Imgur link, cheering, right?
Yep.
But for us to flip through what'll probably be 20,000 screenshots by the end of the week, no. So, and we will have trackers to worry about, like, you know, if anything has to be tracked. Like last time we had an XP tile that we didn't have a wise old man tracker for. If we do anything like that again, we're going to have wise old man trackers.
Mistake we've ever made. It was the start of bingo. We put out the board and people were like, how do you want us to track the XP tiles? And we all just kind of like pointed at each other like, you made an XP tracker, right?
Like,
Oh god, that was the worst. So each team
read the
submitted
rules.
like
Read the rules of
80
bingo.
Oh yeah.
Read the rules of bingo. Watch the video of bingo. I'm the mean mod. I'm not gonna
Oh my
suggest
God.
screenshots if they're wrong. Like I almost did. So way back in the day for our first bingo, right? We had
Oh,
a
this
get a
is
pet
fine.
tile. We had a get a pet tile way back in the day, and this one guy who like I don't even remember got the chaos elemental pet, but he did everything wrong that you're not supposed to do. He didn't have the code word, he didn't have the notification in chat, but he just like had the pet with him with like his total XP showing it. Like, you know, if you hover over your total level, it shows your total XP. He's like, yeah, I got this pet. And we're like, what? We gave him the tile
Because they were
because
all
they
in
wanted
VC
to be
chat with me when it happened.
no,
Every
not you,
single
not
person in the
you.
Discord could
No,
verify.
not you. The other guy before
I don't
you,
remember.
right? He got this pet, and me and Michael and Scape were like, "What do we do?" Michael and Scape are a lot nicer than I am. I'm like, I don't know who this dude is, so like, f him. That doesn't count for that team. But we're like, oh, that's too mean. Blah blah blah. I'm like, ugh, whatever. 24 hours later, too much shitter gets the chaos elemental pet, panics, logs out, loses the drop notification to the point where he submitted the screenshot and I said, TM, do you realize that's probably not going to be okay, right? And I messaged it to Scape and Michael, and they're like, we've already set a precedent. TMD was on my team, and I was ready to be like,
yeah, but
get
the levels
like,
of self-sabotage Oxie will do for bingo to not give himself an advantage
for game integrity
are hilarious.
well, yes, to not give myself an
Yes.
advantage. I know this entire board 2 months.
No,
in
not
advance.
even that.
I have been thinking about tiles I always think about bingo tiles. I will never stack anything.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, though, about how I sabotage
What I was going to
myself?
say is, like, the very first RuneScape bingo I did was what?
Oh my
Fall
God.
2020? Or was it spring 2021?
We'll post, it was fall 2020. I'll post the original team, the original teams in the recording booth chat, and I'll chuck them up on stream right now. If you guys recognize any names, at them and ask them how the bingo went if you're on YouTube. Because man, what a time!
The when Oxie asked me to join the bingo, he was like, "All right, you want to join the bingo?" I was like, "Oh, sure." I don't know what that is, but sure. And he was like trying to figure out how to balance the teams, and he was like, "I think you might need to like. Would you be cool with playing on your Iron Man instead of on your main?" At this time, my main was like 1,800 total. I had like a blowpipe, a whip, a trident. I didn't have
all you need, frankly.
It is, but like I did not have a T-bow. I did not have a scythe. I had like pretty.
We were not the
gear.
PVMers we are today.
I don't think I had done
ago,
chambers.
No,
nothing. And Oxie was like, "Your account might be too like it might make it not fair." And my Iron Man was like, it had like a D-skim, a rune crossbow, and Ivan's Blast. Which, funny enough, rune crossbow and Ivan's Blast are still my range and mage. And I have like 70 chambers KC, and I'm doing TOA with that. But whatever, we don't talk about that. But yeah, so he was like, "Yeah, your Trident of the Swamp is too strong." Meanwhile, both of the other teams in bingo had people with T-bows.
Well, okay, our captain Link had a T-bow.
But she could only do rain. Whatever, not important.
Well,
but
yeah, that was like we didn't understand what a detriment that was back then. Like so in addition to sticking the names of the original teams, which like, just in case you're ever curious about the validity of some of these old timers, this was September 7th, 2020. Yeah. We did all this shit. So like the names you see on here that are still around, they old timers, right? And back then, like we all sucked. We were all at the same level of shitty, just terrible players. So like I'll put the picture of the names over TMD, and I'll put the board we did over my face. If you're on YouTube, look at this board and think to yourself, what kind of fucking maniac put these tiles on there? It was 100% my fault because I just thought it was doable.
2 million.
We're like, well,
XP.
nobody has a 95 Slayer, so we won't do Hydra. And I don't think anyone can spell TOB. So like, we're not gonna do that. That's way too hard. I had like half of us had just gotten our fire cape, let alone like considered the Inferno. Like most of us were fire cape
Did
chads
Too
at the
Fast
time.
even have an Infernal KC back then?
No,
Jesus Christ.
because I think he got it a couple months after. Did he get it in 2020 or 2021? No, it was 2020. Yeah, and it was because it was maybe like a month or two after this bingo. I think he got it in November. So, like, again, relatively speaking, we were all dog shit at this game. But yeah,
that's the levels of self-sabotage. Eventually, the other captains were like, Oxie, it's really okay if they didn't know me either. Like, I wasn't in TNL at the time. Like, this was when
I was
joined
bringing
TNL.
TMD in from like a friend of a friend stream. Who just like he casually mentioned one day that he played old school RuneScape, and I'm like, "So you want to come play bingo?"
I was like bugging Oxie all the time. I was like, "We gotta go to DKs, and eventually we did.
It was fun. Back then, it was fun as
because
shit.
you had never been, right?
I had never been to DKs. No.
Yeah, I was the experienced one. Like, we gotta go to the pinnacle of RuneScape bossing
PVM
Oxie.
content, which is the Dagannoth Kings. You know?
But yeah, that's the kind of self-sabotage Oxie will go through to not give himself an advantage.
Yeah, I will do everything in my power to make sure that I do not have the advantage. I planned the goddamn event. I am not going to stack it in my favor.
And if you know,
which often means people on my team are at the worst advantage because like I said, I don't stack anything. Yeah. Other captains might get an inkling of what's on the board and they might tell, hey, stack this, stack that. I am just radio silence. I don't say a goddamn word.
I have a blurb
of what you should start doing.
I have a blurb from before I was a mod, so I didn't I was a captain, but I wasn't a mod. So I genuinely didn't know any of the tiles. And I've just copied and pasted that blurb ever since, which is basically like, if you're close to a Slayer boss milestone, get to that, stack up ecumenical keys, get supplies, maybe stack up Slayer points because there's going to be Slayer tiles. So there's your advice, everybody. There's probably other stuff now. Like, no, I was going to say other stuff, but no, I don't want to.
You guys are smart players. You'll be able to figure out some things that are going to be guaranteed on the board. Prepare accordingly or don't. I don't give a shit. Because again, you might prepare for something and it's not on the board. So,
and honestly,
have fun wasting your time.
One other thing, people always ask, oh, what gear should I buy ahead of time for bingo? Honestly, especially if you have like a whip, a trident, a blowpipe, you definitely want all of those. But beyond that, like, it can kind of be nice to have liquid cash for bingo, right? Like, you're going to go do a bunch of new content, and if you don't already have the gear for it, it can be nice to be able to buy it, right? Like, if you go to Corp, it can be nice to just buy a Zami spear, if you don't already have a Zami spear. Stuff like that. Like, so, but if you spent all your money on a Dragon Hunter crossbow right before bingo and you don't want to sell that, well, then you don't have a Zami spear to go.
You're locked into doing 2 pieces of content for the entire bingo that may not even be on the board.
So yeah, having liquid cash is good. At the same time, like, if you've been saving up for an upgrade, just fucking send it. Like, you're gonna be hyped to be using that upgrade.
Yeah, like Ancestral or Dragon Claws, because you're poor.
Yeah, or like any of your Zenites.
You can do
Rager.
You can do high level PVM content, but you look like you're poor. So, just yay. I gotta buy a Justy helm back. That's what I gotta do.
Oh yeah,
I forgot to buy that back. Not that it matters for the Inferno, but
Yeah, if you're a captain, my advice is slightly different. buy tank armor, buy like
Have extra shit.
have
in your
extra
bank.
shit like
Don't have like 5 whips, 5 BGSs, but like if you're gonna be if you have a BGS and a Warhammer, you might have to give one to one of your teammates who can't afford it.
and like
You might have to chuck over, your tacit. Like I remember one of the bingos I was in, people wanted to like go to Bandos or whatever, and I wasn't going to be online, so I just like loaned someone my melee gear.
and I want to be very, very,
I was
very
like, yeah, have fun.
very clear. You do not, to be a captain, you do not need to give anybody anything, but
Hell
like
no.
help facilitate your team, right? Like if you've got if you're gonna go to corp and help people figure out what they can do, even if you're not gonna give them money or give them an item, which is totally fine. I am very uncomfortable loaning people stuff. I'm pretty weird about it. Help them figure out, because like nowadays, now that they made a dragon spear 4-tick, that's actually like a pretty reasonable substitute for a Zami spear at corp. Like you're not gonna solo it with a Zami spear, but if you're going with a team, you can contribute. Like if you don't if they can't afford carols, blessed dehide's fine. Even normal dehide's probably fine. So like
Yeah, Corp turns into a chicken anyway.
yeah, so just like help them.
Worst case scenario, Ruby Bolt the bitch.
Yeah. So just help people figure out what good gear substitutes are if they can't afford like what is usually used. We've slid back into Bingo Oxie. We were trying to leave.
We slid back, and now we're going to slide out. TMD, do you have any
DMs.
final thoughts? That's right, you don't, because I'm deciding you don't have any more. The recording track is currently at 3 hours and 3 minutes. We are going to break. I wish I could promise you a new commercial. I'm going to say maybe. Again, it was exhausting last week, and I have one less day to do it this week because we're recording on a Monday. So if there's a new commercial, at Oxie and tell him not only is he handsome, he's also talented and never procrastinates ever. If there's not a new commercial, don't worry about it. And with that, we send you off to break.
Good evening, adventurer. You come here seeking knowledge and power, no? Then perhaps you're brave enough to enter my evil lair. For those of you...
David, honey, who you talking to down there?
What? No, Mom, I'm trying to shoot a movie.
Oh, okay, honey, have fun.
Ahem. Now where were we? For those of you who dare enter this hell, you may find the power you seek. But of course, such power comes at a price. You must...
David, honey, what do you want for dinner? I got leftover lasagna or dinosaur chicken nuggets.
Dinosaur chicken nuggets, please. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Okay, evil. I am evil. Okay, we can do this. To obtain that which you desire, you must take the life of another. But you adventurers are all the same, and your bloodlust is rarely sated after just one. However, there is not reward without risk. You must...
David, honey.
Oh, I swear to Zamarok. What, Mom?
Would you like ranch or honey mustard with your nuggets?
Do we have any hot sauce?
Yeah, I got hot sauce. You want hot sauce?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mom.
Of course, dear.
Okay, let's just get this over with. However, there is no reward without risk. For you must endanger the life of your closest companion in order to fulfill your desires for knowledge and power. If this is a chance you're willing to take, then I invite all of you to venture to my corner of hell, if you dare.
David, honey, if you're gonna have friends over, I'm gonna need to make more chicken nuggets.
Mom!
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial, because I know I sure did. Oxie, go f yourself.
I'm sorry, man. I hope it's
No, I just
new.
didn't know what I was gonna say
Oh.
something, but then I didn't know what to say, and then you said something, so I just,
All right, well, cool. Good talk. But yeah, it's Patreon time. Being an adult sucks. I woke up at 6:40 today. I've woken up at 6:40 most days for the last week. I'm going to do this every day until I retire or die. And that makes me kind of sad. I'm tired, so we're going to try to cook through this second section with as much finesse and funny Oxy TMD things as we can. But in the words of a once great podcast host, I'm fading fast, boys.
oh no. Did any of that even make it into the episode, or was that before we even started recording? Like,
I think a lot of that was before we started recording. When we did the trivia episode, Michael was sick, and he kept saying, "We got to speed this up. I'm fading fast, boys." We recorded for 3.5 hours.
and we started
that
like
night.
asking him at what speed he was fading, and people were probably like, "What the f- are they talking about?"
Yeah, but all right. So it is time for the Patreon. This is my favorite section that I get to read off because it is the one that I am the most awkward in, and I'm sure you guys love that too. So, kicking things off with the wise old man tier, we have 10,000 slugs. That's a lot of slugs. Scape Caution, Elagio, Bolimer, Basket, Benjamin R, Pork Jerry, Bradley B, Casper, Hadadbod, Cole, C. Gladney, Connor M, Morty, Cream Tam, Dean R, Drum TXT, Duke Bradley, DWZK, Dizbook. I saw you in the recording booth chat earlier, and I shouted you out with a different name last week. Hey there. D. Falconer, Flying Castiel, Fortimus, Francine 1225, Gecko, Gloves, Hajay, Who Farted, Isaac G, Jack M, Jake W, Jerry, John P, Kevin B, Kiosk Bane, Potato Pancake, Posh Padre, Meg Morpheus, Mike Coxmall, Mima, Moist Sean, Nasty MFer, Nick My Knack, 999, Ninja Turtle Ruby, Obsidian Paladin, Old Nikya, Okami Damashi, Pine Martin 709, Poorly Hung, aka Ice Swallow, Real Crazy, Reclinatus, Russifury, Salted Snake, Soggy Waffles, Shadow, Skillaxin, Sholdveg, Solaire OS, The Chungaroo, The Rep Dog, THG Bang, Thormac, That Good Iron, Troll, Tyler, Valdon, and Zach without a K. There's an astonishing amount of wise old men patrons. And the list just keeps growing. We have to change names at the R's now. You guys are fantastic. We are cruising to our goal. But who would we be if we didn't shout out the other tier, the KBD tier? Again, the absolute, as I so smoothly put last week, you guys are hard. God, I have to think of a different phrase for this. I gotta stop doing this at night. But into the KBD tier, where, again, the other legends reside, we have Bloodman, a.k.a. Young Kyle. My dad. Hi, Dad. Dickie Bird. GIM Stones. Kroll. The Lord Jake himself. Our third favorite supporter, Ralph. Rylithian. Seth Shep. Skooma92, who went off to the Ukraine today. So good for you, Skooma. Stay safe, King. Stay safe. Come home quickly, please. Spartan Fire, the Big G Jordy, and Toast No Toast. You guys are fantastic. I promise that the exhaustion in my voice is not meant to downplay how big of a deal it is that some of you guys have been supporting us for such a long time. Like there are people on here who I know you guys, I mean, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, you've heard these names for months at this point. It's insane that it's been over a year and you guys are still supporting at the same rate. So that's just like, I don't know. I feel like we get other reassurances other ways, but I don't know. It's nice to see it. You guys are awesome. The fan base is, we're the best fans in the world, guys. So if you want to subscribe yourself, head over to patreon.com/Xpwaste. Subscribe at any tier. We have other tiers that do not get shouted out, but they still get a hell of a lot of sick benefits. We have that goal to reach 150. And once we hit 150, everyone gets a shirt. Again, not entirely free because you do pay for the subscription, but we will be sending you a shirt with the names of every patron who has supported us in this first 150 list. Your name will be on the back. There'll be a fun little design. We think it's going to be loosely based on the tattoo Michael and I are going to get. We're very excited about it. That will be sent your way seemingly pretty soon. We're at 135. 15 more to go, folks. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your relatives. Tell Michael that I'm doing such a damn good job promoting our show because, like, wow, he's handsome and he can get people to support him. He really has it all. Maybe he's born with it. Like I said, patreon.com/XPWaste to go check that out. If you have any interest in hanging out with us and other Mumpties from the TNL clan, we are going to be in Fort Worth, Texas on, I believe, Saturday, November 12th. We are going to main event. We're going to be just hanging out, having some drinks, playing some games for the Xpwaste South official meetup. If you want more information, address, airport, location, text Michael because, frankly, I don't even know where I'm going to get there. I'm staying with Michael. I'm hope. So here, you know what? No, but also he's also not made it very apparent that like I'm getting a hotel. Like we bought the ticket together to get here. Like we planned a flight of like when I'm getting to Fort Worth, when I'm leaving from Detroit. We didn't ever have the conversation of like, oh yeah, so where are you staying in a hotel? So like I will stay in a hotel. It just hadn't ever been covered. Yeah, so I would we'll see. Maybe. I think I'm sleeping in Michael's backyard. If so, sick. Yeah, you guys hang out, do all that. Make
some kind of place where people can like say that, because like right now people have no idea if they'd be the only ones going or if there's gonna be 20 people there.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. Please, if you guys have any interest in going, let us know because we want to get some sort of head count. Michael and I are going to be there regardless, so we're going to create something. Hopefully, it's already posted by now. Yeah, again, in addition to our own thing that we shouted out this week, check out the Not Dead Yet campaign. I think I'm allowed to talk about it. If I'm not, I'm going to cut my next couple of sentences out. So if it's not a smooth transition, you know why. But Hanani is hosting the Not Dead Yet campaign with a bunch of other RuneScape content creators. We're doing an event. I think we actually got a private world with like absolutely cracked XP rates. And if it's not a private world, we're all creating brand new hardcore Iron Men accounts. We have 24 hours of in-game playtime to get the XP. So we're going to do one of those two things or both. It just depends on how Jagex decides to come through. Though we're pretty confident Hanani can make it happen with the private world. For 1 hour, we have to train skills and then compete on hardcore accounts. Really cool. With the idea being you only get one life, make it count, right? It's the whole point of the event, as she has put in the little Discord here, which is so weird to be in. Like, just like off topic entirely. Just looking at the names of people who are online: Nine Rain, Addycon, Defy, Hanner, Oda Block, Poison Potion, We Skill Now, people like that. People who are like actual huge YouTubers and streamers. And then I'm just sort of like, hi guys, I have a podcast. So cool to be a part of that. I'm going to be participating in that. It's actually the 28th. So the Friday of our bingo, I'm going to be playing around and doing all that. So look out for that on Twitch. Yeah, if this has to get edited, it'll do that.
Fair enough.
Because holy shit, I'm tired. But so there is that for you as well. That link will also be down in the description. It is RuneScape and therapy, and I am a RuneScape player who is also a therapist. I'm not spearheading a campaign. This is not my thing, but I care about it a lot. So go check that out for me. That'd be awesome. We're going to move on to the community question now. And thankfully, I don't have to do it this week because I'm forcing TMD to do it.
All right, so the community question from last week was, if you could design any RuneLite plugin, what would it be? We've got some good answers here. Mac B said, I wouldn't. The two perfect plugins already exist with Door Kicker, and Imbued Fart. I don't know what that one is. I can guess.
Have you not seen the
I assume it
Imbued
just
Fart?
makes a fart sound every time you use an Imbued
It
Heart.
does. It's the stupidest shit in the
that's
whole
great.
game. But it just makes a farting noise whenever
That's
you
good.
activate it. I don't have it downloaded, but like,
That's very good.
good shit. Man. Real creative, honestly.
Boston Sports said, I think it'd be fun to have a plugin for games like Tag or Hide and Seek. Both would be entertaining to break up grinds or the feeling of being burned out. I think that would be really fun. People play Hide and Seek a decent amount. It's a good time. You gotta restrict it to a certain city or something like that. But Hide and Seek can be fun. Richie K said a buying GF plugin where you see everyone offer and buying a girlfriend in RuneScape, presumably for 10K. That one, it's a classic meme. It kind of reminds me of like the dance party. Matt,
I love that one. People go crazy when you get a level. Is that what it is?
I think
they dance when you get a level.
You can probably configure it to be different things, but I think by default people are just dancing all the time, which is pretty silly.
I know there's the firework plugin when you die is pretty funny.
That's funny. I haven't seen that.
Get everyone shoots up like skill fireworks over their head whenever you die. It's good.
Matt said, I would like a plugin that allows button memory. I wish I could click monster drops, food, a pot, then the next Slayer monster, and allow the clicks to unfold in chronological click per tick order. I believe what you're describing is botting, and I don't think that they're ever going to put that in RuneLite.
I think they have that, and it's called auto hockey.
Described botting.
Like,
don't
that
do
is
that.
almost certainly illegal.
Definitely don't make like your own RuneLite plugin that does that, because you will get banned. Caleb S said, a tab above the inventory where all of your teleports would be laid out in a line, so you don't have to go into your magic tab. This would also work with item teleports like a seed pod and the Artie Cape. I could see that being interesting. I don't know. I'm trying to think if we have plugins that do functionality like that in other tabs. I don't think so. So I don't know if that would be allowed, but it's an interesting idea.
My issue with that would be, is it going to be resizable? And would it be an issue for Magic? Because I know that's a big thing. The community actually voted against, like, when you filter your Magic book, they're all the same size, even if you only filter to be like teleport spells that you don't have the runes for. Yeah, not on mobile. It's like, is that an issue where like certain teleports are now larger on this extra screen, which like on a PvP world could mean the difference between life and
Yeah.
death.
I
If you can
I
click on
don't
the teleport
think
a little
there's
bit quicker.
currently anything that like lets you do stuff in other tabs while you're in one tab. Like even the inventory viewer, you can't interact with your inventory through the inventory viewer. You can see it, but you can't do anything with it. And I don't think that Jagex would ever be cool with that. At least not right now. They wouldn't be cool with that. Danny said, "Imagine the GE with proximity chat." I love that.
I would be yeeting my headphones across.
For people
the
who don't
room.
know what proximity chat is, it's a thing common in a lot of games that have voice chat, but you can hear people who are near you talking, and like if you're too far away you can't hear them, but at the GE it would be bad. And I think people have made like text to speech things like that in RuneScape, so you can hear a text to speech bot saying all of the stuff people are typing out at the GE. And it's too much.
It's so bad, dude. Yeah. I would not want like anything like that. Imagine you guys seen Jimmy's free to play videos? Imagine that, but like constantly, like 24/7 people are talking like that. I cannot imagine what that would like. Oh, no thanks. It would be funny some places, but I feel like, you know, with the like if you shit talk properly, right? Because there is a proper way to shit talk, right? Like it's gotta be creative, it's gotta be funny, and it's gotta sting, but it's gotta be benign, right? Think of it like snapping someone with a rubber band when you're shit talking. Like yo mama jokes can be funny, but they're not creative. Like, you know, I think we had this conversation in VC the other day, like racial slurs, you're a shitter. Like that's not shit talk. Get out of here. You're just a bad person at that point. But like if I said, you know, wow, these chests are whiter and shinier than TMD'S bald ass head, like that's a creative and funny and ultimately benign like shit talk thing. So he could come back with bold words for someone who looks like the love child of human Shrek and blathers from Animal Crossing when he's in his work outfit and still only has a fire cape. Like that's creative, funny, and hurts a little bit, but like is ultimately benign, you know? I feel like the TOB lobby and the TOA lobby would be like Modern Warfare 2 with proximity chat. Like that shit would be hysterical.
Yeah. Go to the FFA, or not FFA, but the like.
Dude, just sit at 416 with your headset on and see what happens. Oh, man.
Right, this next one's actually very good. JJ said, the ability to check the vicinity in other worlds. So much time wasted hopping for fires, catacombs, godwares, etc. Obviously disabled in the Wildy. Oh, wait, this is Gibson. But yes, Jesus fucking Christ, yes. This is all I want. There's nothing, like, I wouldn't hate God Wars that much if it wasn't Hopping Simulator 2K22. Oh my god. If you want to do Bandos anytime other than like 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, good fucking luck. Hope you've got all night to find a world and then get crashed by assholes 10 minutes later.
You know how demotivating? We got crashed by somebody one time. I think it was like me, Jamie, and Em were in a trio. And we got crashed by some shitter in regular void with an infernal cape. And he took the kill, and we're like, we can't be
If there was
and
ever a bought Inferno Cape in my entire life, that's it.
He showed up like with his own tank, and we asked him like, how much did you pay? He's like, cheaper than your mom, which like again, creative, funny, and benign.
Is that creative?
I don't know. He got the kill, so like at that point, once you do that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, so
I've
that would be
been
nice.
doing. Every time I get an expensive new weapon, I take it to the most high octane boss in the game, which is of course Giant Mole. And when I bought the Fang, it's actually really good at Mole. So I've been doing a bunch of Mole.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I got a great guide if you want to. If you
I
want.
love your old
want
videos.
details
They're
on how to
so
do that.
good.
Oh.
But for some reason, Giant Mole has been popping off. You got to hop like 10 worlds. Luckily, there's at least the peak option. But, oh my God. Just all they need to do. It really can't be that hard, especially for stuff that has a peak option. Make a little sign next to the boss entrance that just lists open worlds and let people hop to them. If any Jagex developer is listening to this, I will do whatever you want that is legal in the United Kingdom. I will even train rune crafting for you. Please just
That's
add
the
this.
sickest thing ever.
Sick.
That is like the most sick, maniacal thing ever. Like, I have access to the single most powerful object in RuneScape, the rotten potato, that allows JMods to like transform into bosses and shit, max their stats, max their items. But you're gonna train rune crafting on my personal account. Like, that is just devious, and I love it. That is just devious.
But please add this. Please. It really can't be that hard. Because we have the house board, right? Which can pull from every world. We've already got checking if people are in the lair. Just give it a little. Just give it a little. Combine those ideas. I
Maybe
know.
you finish your subpar RuneLight plugin, and then you could talk about how easy
I was
it
gonna
is
say,
to
as someone
code
who
the
works
game
in
on
software, I
TMD.
know nothing is ever as easy as it seems. But I also know that we have the technology. We've already done the different
We have
parts of it.
technology.
You don't even have to like let me hop in game. Like, just tell me what worlds are free. That's fine. I can do the rest. It'd be great if it could hop to that world, but like, whatever. Please. Please. It doesn't even have to be at like everything. Just put it at Giant Mole. That's all.
Please put it at Godburst Dungeon as well. Preferably just Bandos.
That's true. I mean, really, that's.
Or you could just like, not be bad and get private instances.
But other people
can't do that with
yeah.
your friends,
Or
unfortunately.
add group instances to every boss. That's the other.
No.
Yes.
No. Economy crash.
No, it won't. Raids. They've done it for every good
Economy
boss.
Economy crash. Nostalgia go re. And there's just something nice about seeing people doing
Sure.
content.
make
That's one
it
of the reasons that people
exorbitantly
enjoy.
expensive. Make it so that no one but assholes or people who CBA can afford it. Make it a meal per instance. You get kicked out after half a kill. I don't care. Give me the option. It takes a Giant Mole mechanics. Every time you hit the boss, there's a 50% chance you get kicked out of the instance that costs you a mil.
It feels like you take some like absolute mid-game broke as shit kid with you, and like every blowpipe hit is like a 1 in 2 chance to get booted. They're like, here is
See
some
ya.
Armadillo,
See
here's
ya.
a blowpipe,
See
here's
ya.
amethyst darts,
See ya.
and here's
See ya.
50 mil cash to get back in the room.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
I don't think they actually need to add group instances to every boss, but if there's
'cause that's
already
shitter talk right there.
private instances like God Wars, let us do group it, please, for the love of God.
Just be better.
I
TMD, that's my
know.
only request.
I
Just
know.
be better. Who has the next answer?
All right.
Damn it.
Our last answer. Nope, there's two. Jacob M said mobile mode. You're now limited to things that are only on mobile client. Your chat bugs out every 15 minutes. You have to restart because there's not a refresh reload option. Hashtag salty. That's fair.
So RuneLight, but worse.
Honestly, RuneScape, but worse. My biggest complaint about mobile is, and this is so minor, but the press and hold time for the different chat options, like how you can right click and do like show friend, show standard, show none on different chat options.
Mm-hmm.
The press and hold option on mobile takes like 8 times longer than any other press and hold option for anything that's ever existed on a phone. It's super weird. It makes you feel like you didn't tap in the right spot, so you stop. Because it's like, oh, this shouldn't take genuinely 3 seconds. I must have not tapped on the right spot. Whatever. Adam C said, I think it would be good to have a lap timer, one that you could choose to manually time lapse or shift right click, set lap timer on things like poke Vorkath, open Barrow's chest, etc. I think there's something, I mean, there are timers. I wonder if there's a like hotkey for the timers. I don't know. I'm sure something like that exists though. But all of those would be cool. Taco Dog 8 said, I think I would make a plugin that played the famous "Oh my god, they killed Kenny" line every time you died to replace the death jingle. That would be pretty good. I quite like that. Do you have a favorite Kenny death, Oxie?
That one is just so funny.
Not a South Park guy.
Yeah. Yeah. What? That's so.
That's
Hell
fine.
yeah! I love when he dies.
My favorite one is there's the episode where they all play football and he gets tackled in half and then rats come eat his body for no reason. It's pretty good.
Ew.
But it's in the like really old like construction paper style. So it's just a rat that like goes like this.
Oh well, yeah.
It's
yeah.
very silly. Okay. Alice said custom pet outfits like the Santa hat. It could make terrible looking pets looking at you, rock golem, a little more spicy. See, that one I like, but I'm also a big fan of like
ugly pets.
Ouch. You're banned. No, just of keeping special things special, you know? Like it's so I like that those are like Christmas time things. So if you had them all year, it wouldn't be special, you know? It's like
said Christmas pet.
But it's like how people want us to do bingo like every fucking month. I'm like, dog, no, you don't. I promise.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Promise. I don't understand how people how people participate in bingos more often than like the cadence that we do them at.
Once every 6 months. That's about.
There
all
are people who do them like every couple months.
Bingo.
I'm like, dog, I don't know about all that.
Immortals Old Clan used to do one like every month. It was like the exact same event. I'm like, dude,
it was a little different.
Function, dog.
Yeah. Okay. Mockcat said, quote, banked experience plugin for inventory, looting bag, death storage. A world. Oh wait. Okay. So that's one. I mean, we have that, right? The banked XP plugin includes your inventory and stuff.
I think it just goes
For
a little
UIM.
bit more into like he's a UIM, so like shows how much total XP he has in his inventory or in his like Zalra bank or whatever.
It would be really cool. That would actually be quite simple too. Honestly, Mockcat, if you're at all interested in like learning to do RuneLight plugins, that would be a good intro to it because you would just build off of an existing one. That was how I kind of started doing mine. Was I was like, okay, there's a lot of stuff similar to what I want to do. Let me just add on to it because then you can see what's already there and just build off it. You don't have to learn from scratch. He also had another one, a Worlds Merged plugin that makes the game seem more populated by displaying players on other worlds, and it's purely visual. It'd be interesting. Trying trying to think how that would work. I wonder if you would.
It could work for everything but combat, and I think that you'd run into the issue of like visual overload for most places. Like if we looked at a heat map of OSRS, we would see obviously the most people would be at the Grand Exchange. Thousands and thousands of people would be at the GE. I think other than that, we would see a lot of people at the various raids banks. I think Sears Village Bank would be pretty popular. We'd probably see a lot of people at the East Arty Bank by the boat, the south one, pickpocketing the night. Prith might have some population. I think it would be cool to see it. The coolest place to see it would be in combat areas, which is also the worst place to see it. Because if there's 15 people upstairs killing gargoyles, but only 2 of them are on the world with you. Imagine Vires, but you could see everyone who's there killing
You could
Vires.
probably like give them an opacity though, so you could make them like, you know, like
like an Elden Ring or like a Dark Souls like spirit or whatever that kind of acts in motions or whatever it does. You know, however that game works. I've never played it. I've just seen it.
I imagine it would. I mean, I guess there's a lot of ways you could do it. You could have it only be people who've opted in with the plugin, in which case you wouldn't get very many people. Or you could like, each person who has the plugin turned on is like, kind of like how the bot reporting one works. Like, it's just gathering information about players around them, sending that to a server, and then the server uses that information to display it in different locations on different worlds. Or you could just make up people.
Some people were able to understand. Like
it was funny. Just I could see it.
I really did. I genuinely enjoyed that conversation. I like Ferraric and I love that plugin, and
it's cool.
It was very informative. I wish I knew more about what I was being informed on, but I really did enjoy that content a lot.
I think, like, if I had talked to Ferraric, so many, like, or if you had my level of understanding, so many people would have just tuned out. You guys would have gone too in the weeds, and I think it would have. I honestly think it might have been worse if you knew more, if that makes sense. You know.
Well, I feel bad because I understand nothing, but I really did enjoy that episode a lot.
Gangly Goat Game said, I would like a plugin that changes all monsters to Pokemon. That'd be fun. That'd be really cool. There's certainly enough Pokemon.
At this point, yeah. Surely.
I'd like that. Even if you didn't do it to all of them, because that would be kind of a nightmare to map and also make 3D models for.
No, it would just be the 2D pixels. Like back, you get like a pixelated Tauros or whatever, like when you're trying to kill Vorkath. It's like, okay, doesn't quite make sense, but
There's
good enough.
So many Pokemon that are so much more similar to Vorkath than Tauros. Why the did you pick Tauros?
Gen 1 sprite might be interesting to see. Just like, it wouldn't have any depth. It would just sort of like turn to face you like a weird taxidermy owl.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that. Give me the fucking like Golbat Gen 1 sprite, baby. Oh god. Do you know what that looks like?
No.
You're about to. Recording booth chat. Come here.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Me when your mom.
Me when Jagex adds big titty goth girlfriend boss. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Pokemon would be a cool ad. Honestly, Golbat could just be Zarpus, by the way.
Oh no, dude.
Oh, and he's
Gen
just
1.
The poison is just his saliva. Just
Oh man, and then I think that's what it is to begin with, frankly.
Yeah.
And then like I have the Tob QOL plugin that I think I only have the crabs turned on, so it shows crab percentage. And then whenever Zarpus gets to 30%, it goes sheesh. So just Golbat yell. That's unhinged
For
right
people
there.
who have never done Tob,
Pixelated Golbat yelling
at
sheesh.
30%, Zarpus goes
no.
screech.
If they've never done Tob, now's not the time to explain the
He goes
mechanic.
screech.
It's 11:15
Now he
at
says
night,
sheesh.
and
That's the joke.
4 hours and 15 minutes.
Oxie's
TMD.
now is when he
Hurry
puts
it
his
the
foot
fuck
down. That's fair. Okay. Finally, Jordy G asks, well, first he says, say what you want, but my statement on Dragon Gloves looking better than Barrows is still true. I gotta level with you. I've never seen a human being wearing Dragon Gloves, and I'd like to keep it that way. There are a lot of quality of life plugins I would like to see in the base game, which makes thinking of plugins harder because you can't fix it with a plugin. But a plugin I would like to see is based on Slayer. I am not that great at the game still, and I tend to forget all the spots where you can train certain monsters at. It'd be nice to get a task from Steve or Neve, which says Fire Giants, and I can, based off of that task, see a list of locations where I could slay them. With info stats like their level, most likely to be crowded so that you can take that into account. And that way you can find a world to do your task. I like that. Kind of goes in with the like boss one. And
Yeah.
Jordy, I don't know if you know, but the wiki does have all of that information. So basically every monster that can be assigned as a Slayer task, like if we go to Fire Giants, at the top, well, okay. For some reason, Fire Giants doesn't. Most of them have a thing that says Slayer Guide at the top, and it will like show you all of the places where you can kill them. Maybe like, let me check Cal Fights. All the places you can kill them. Yeah. It's like Cal Fight Guardian, Slayer Task / Cal Fights. It'll have all the places you can kill it. It'll say whether it's cannonable or not. It'll say whether it's task only or not. It'll say if it's multi-combat or not. It'll say if it's safe spottable or not. It says how many of them are there. It even has a little map link. It's really useful. So that's something that you might not have known about. Finally, for Oxie, the last thing here. The last one. Other than that, I think most of my plugin ideas are things you can find on the wiki. This is awkward. Like best in slot Slayer gear for certain bosses or DPS calculator based off your current gear. Turns out the Slayer stuff, I'm glad you learned something new. But that would also be nice to have up as a plugin. Just so you don't have to look everything up on the wiki.
So now that the longest winded community question ever is over, it is time for my favorite section, Achievement of the Week. As always, you guys have been absolutely popping off this week. People have been completing quests, getting big unlocks. People have been popping off at Barbarian Assault, finishing that shitty diary step. I've been watching people fill collection log slots and complete diaries all day long. But as always, we have our little categories. We're going to crank them out right now. This week, we're making a sandwich, right? Thin bread, thick meat, thin bread, right?
Ayo.
You heard me, baby. So, kicking things off in the combat category this week, we have some of just my two favorite things in the whole world. We've got some first fire capes, and we've got some first Zulrah. So, achieving their first fire cape this week, we have Diggy NP, Roro, and Cold Coos. Congratulations to the three of you for finally taking on Jad. Not just a boss, a rite of passage. Another rite of passage that is significantly worse for a lot of reasons, and also has a Jad phase. Fairy Kittens, CJ, and Toilet GG all received their first Zulrah kill this week. Congratulations to you three. Again, I was not on board with adding the collection log plugin to the clan. I think it's kind of spammy at sometimes, like Shadow Blade just received a rune satchel. Neat. Things like that. I love you, Shadow. Not super impressive. But when people get a new item added to their collection log and it's a fire cape, or it's Zulrah scales, or it's corrupted gauntlet cape, like, that's real cool to see. Watching people get their first Vorkath head, their first Dragon Defender. The one thing I wish they would add are more capes. So Yeah, obviously the XP wasters aren't aware because, somebody hasn't gotten it yet. But the Infernal Cape will proc regardless of collection log status. So when the day comes, you'll see 2 notifications. Oxiem has received a new collection log item, and Oxiem has received an item. It will just say both of those at the exact same time. I would like them to add that for Quest Cape, Diary Cape. I think it would be cool to add it to things like First Fire Cape and Dragon Defender. Maybe Fighter Torso as well. Just things that are, some are on the collection log, some are not. Like, even if it didn't proc, we have the collection log plugin turned on, and you guys would see it because the Infernal Cape is a collection log slot. So I would like to see them add that sometime in the future. But speaking of things that are super cool to shout out, Habitat achieved his Missouri kit this week. I want that backpack. Again, still have to complete a 300. Have to have more than a couple of hours to play to get it. Well, we'll see. It'll come with time. Don't you worry.
We'll do
So
that in
that's
our
the-
moderate after. Sure.
Oh, after this, what do you mean? What? The only thing I'm rating is them. I almost said them sheets, and then I realized,
Heyo.
like, maybe my own sheets. You're welcome to come if you'd like, TMD. But so speaking of thick meat, onto the skilling section, right? God, it's so late. We have several
we knew
99s
this was gonna
this
happen,
week.
and we did nothing to avoid it.
I apologize. Well, I'll apologize later. So it is 99 time, folks. We have Rezihan with a 99 Slayer, which I unfortunately wasn't able to beat at. I don't remember why I was gone, but I was not home. And I got the notifications, and I was like, shit. Congratulations on 99 Slayer.
Sorry.
Because if you guys ever send a 99 party in the chat and Oxie's not there, I either didn't see it or wasn't home. Because if y'all are like in CC, like, oh, 99 such and such is happening, and I'm not in the middle of a Tob or an Inferno, I'll be there. Just to like show up and hang out. Sometimes I'll show up in whatever I'm wearing. Sometimes I'll put my whole, get up on. I like being at 99 parties. They're fun. Antics received 99 farming this week. For Vitney, 99 woodcutting. Egg Rangoon with his second 99, the back-to-back achievement of the week appearance with 99 range. Ryuki-sun with 99 cooking. I think I said that correctly. You've been around for a while, and yours is a name that I don't say out loud very often. So I hope I said that correctly. Prestige with 99 prayer and max combat this week. He's now 126. How that enables him to do several thousand points additional damage than me at TOA, I will never understand.
I bullied him into getting
Congratulations.
it, by the way. I looked him up and I was like, oh, I see. You're max combat, but you CBA getting 99 prayer because you're too poor. And within like 12 hours, he got it. Because he was like, yeah, you're right.
Wow. What a mumpty TMD. Anyway, congratulations, Prestige. Papa Roll with 99 hit points. I believe that might be one of his firsts, frankly. Not entirely sure. It's either his first or his second. I should scroll up and look. Yep, second 99. I was correct. Cutting Montage today completed Farming Simulator. He got 99 farming. And wrapping up the 99s, we have Siebert, who got 99 cooking while recording. We were unhinged laughing at something, so we didn't shout it out when it happened. But Siebert, congratulations to you. In addition to, we're adding more meat onto this meat. We have some other skilling achievements that are always worthy of shouting out. Gibson, 250 million total XP. It's a lot of XP. It's one of those like, damn, I don't have that much. I don't have that much. I have 217 million. Good God, Gibson. Are you close to a max cape yet? Surely, right? Surely.
He's over 2,200. I know that.
Oh my
Oh no,
good
he's over
God.
21.
Man, it's cruising. What? Good Lord.
I remember at one of my 99s, I think we were like the exact same total level, and he was like, I'll race you. And I was like, you're going to beat me.
The only person I'm racing in total levels right now
I
is
know.
you, and
It's
there's
so
no
petty.
end goal. There's it's literally just like, hey, TMD.
Yeah,
get
it's just
I'm
whenever
about to
one
get
of
a
us
cooking
notices
level.
we've passed the other one, we're like, "F you."
Yeah, so like I'm gonna be one level behind TMD in like 5 minutes when I get this cooking level. But it's not about us an achievement of the week. We have two more folks here. Nick My Knack and iSteam both achieved 2K total. Brand new world set for you.
Those
Enjoy
are the
it.
big boy
It's fun.
worlds, too.
They are the big boy
You're gonna-
worlds. Well, there's only one bad thing about the higher total level worlds: the wilderness. It's empty until it's not. And once you get to 2K worlds, it's not as bad as 2.2K worlds. 2200 total level worlds, you might as well just drop your shit, because whoever's coming after you is gonna kill you on a 2.2K
true.
world. But 2K worlds, you're getting into some serious PvP.
Also,
just be careful on the wilderness, but real nice for everything else.
enjoy your 2K worlds because you're going to be there for a long time.
Here,
If you ever unlock another one, it's going to be years from now.
Well, that wraps up the skilling portion. So it's time for the bottom bun, the thinnest, but arguably one of the best
The
parts
certified thick boy.
of the sandwich. Yeah. Skilling was the thick boy.
Sorry.
The bottom bun it's thin, but it's like a pretzel bun with delightful sauce on it.
Nice little
And maybe a little
aioli.
bit of cheese too. Yeah, a little bit of aioli. Oh, what are you doing? Bottom bun? Don't sleep on no bottom bun. That's our miscellaneous category. It's a little small this week. We've got 3 quest capes. We have Taco Manian, M. Scotty, Scotty?
Shouty.
Scotty,
Scotty is like a memory.
and
My life. No, every day. Got my iPod stuck on replay? That kind of thing? I'm sorry. I'll
and
stop.
Skooma 92 with their quest capes this week. Congratulations to you guys. Again,
People are gonna be like, why the
Skooma, be
f- is he
safe.
laughing? Because you're definitely cutting
What do
that
you
out.
mean? I'm leaving it in. What do you mean? At this point, I'm leaving it in. Phrasing, boom.
There you go.
Anyways, that's achievement of the week. If you have done something awesome and you want to show it off, come hang out with us in Discord. Bingo is starting soon. You have like 5 minutes left to apply. So go do that and post about your achievements. Whether or not it gets shouted out, doesn't matter. People post progress updates all the time. They hit level milestones that aren't 99 that don't get shouted out on the show, but are still hugely important. People get 85 construction. People get 70 hunter. People get all sorts of things that they need. People get 95 slayer on their height to do hydra. Like anything that you value as an achievement is worth putting in levels and achievements. And just because we don't shout it out, of course, doesn't mean it has no value, right? We would be here for 10,000 years if we shouted out all 65 screenshots we got in the last 8 days. So, got to filter a little bit. But come hang out in Discord. We have a lot of sick-ass channels. We have a lot of sick-ass people, minus TMD, to come hang out with. Do it. It's a lot of fun. That link will be in the description down below
And
as
for
well.
posting stuff,
And
there's nothing too small. Like somebody the other day was like, "Oh, I don't feel like I should post any of my achievements because like I'm not getting 99s. I'm not fucking maxing." And everybody's like, "No, like if it's an achievement to you, like hell yeah, dude. Like people are gonna be excited for you. So get in there."
Achievements are subjective. I remember when I posted my my 50th Zalra Casey, some asshole that will remain unnamed immediately replied with, "Well, there goes the bank." It was you.
Yeah,
nut.
that sounds like me. For those who don't understand that joke, when you die at Zulrah, you can get all your stuff back from a person on the dock, and it's free until you've killed the boss 50 times. Then you have to start paying this like 50k or 100k per death, and Oxie was still dying all the time.
It was brutal. Zulrah was hard, but
Jokes are better when you explain them, right?
that's no, they're often not. But that is achievement of the week, which means we have finally come to the light at the end of this 4.5 hour long tunnel, which is the fun question. TMD, what have
do you think?
brought
Can we
for
stretch
us
out
this
another
week?
half hour of this one? Get us
I'll
to 5
kill you.
hours.
I'll literally kill you.
Bro, I might have to buy the like second tier of Google space.
You honestly might have to. This is going to be a 200 gigabyte file on my end. I guarantee it. So,
all right. Fun question.
Fun question.
Everybody's been waiting patiently 4.5 hours while TMD finds it again.
Bro, it's like two. It's like
Guy,
scroll twice and you're there. Mate,
all right.
Holy shit. Oh, 94 cooking. Look at that.
What a
I'm so
man.
good.
Our boy Boston Sports asked if you could add one resource to be gathered from your kingdom of miscellanea, what would it be?
This is a great question. Why is it such a great question, Team
Because
D?
Oxie
Team D
loves
has spent
miscellanea.
the last several years diligently doing miscellanea, and I have checked miscellanea for the first time in probably several years. Earlier today, when we talked about it. So I am the funniest part of this fun question is I'm not entirely sure what resources are already offered for miscellanea. Don't tell me what they are.
Tell me what ones you know are there, Oxie.
Herbs and wood, fish, rocks.
There is an item just called a rock, by the way. I love that.
So I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. I think that miscellanea should.
There. That's basically all of them.
Miscellanea should add hunters. And miscellanea, the people there, my subjects, I own that entire land. I like married one of their daughters. I did the whole Game of Thrones marry for status thing. So I'm pretty sure I like rule miscellanea, and I want my subjects to start collecting hunter materials for me. And that is because I will need them when the dinosaur expansion for hunter comes out, which I'm going to spend so much time pitching and writing because Jagex, please, hunter needs a point. And I think adding bits and baubles, but like in all seriousness though, I think like random impling jars, I think a small amount of chinchampas, I think like, it might be funny to like, you get a birdhouse just like randomly from it, it obviously wouldn't be like, here's 5,000 eclectic implings. Like that's a little too sus, but like, here's 73 black chins. Which is also funny enough, the level you need to catch black chins.
And the RuneScape funny number.
Here are some random, here are some useless hunter things. Like, here are salamanders. Here's kebbit fur. But, just like fun stuff like that. Things that kind of lighten the load only slightly, Maybe make you a little bit of money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's good. I do like chins, I think would be a good one. And then maybe like the implings would be good. I
feel like if it was just those two though, it would have to be in such a small quantity. Otherwise, it would just be the meta for like don't even catch chins, just like do miscellanea.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be like a pretty broad drop table of like chins, implings, useless garbage.
Yeah. That's fair, because like nobody does. So one of the things you can do at miscellanea is farming, and that gives you seeds. Nobody does it because you just get
master farmers exist?
Well, no, you can get like basically every seed, and it's weighted towards garbage. Like you get potato seeds and then onion seeds and then cabbage seeds. Like on average per day, you get a third of a Raynar seed.
Yikes.
So you could do that with hunter. I think with the implings, you'd want to cap it at like, you're probably not giving them dragon implings, but maybe up to like ninjas or something.
One dragon impling, who knows?
A lucky impling.
One lucky impling, who knows?
But you gotta be able to. You need 9900 to open it. Just to. They just release it in the throne room. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. As far as what I would like, I'm just trying to think of stuff that is honestly just stuff that's like heavily botted, that's annoying to make, that nobody wants to make. So like, I don't know, jugs of water, bowls of water, stuff like that. Honestly, fucking Guthix rests, Doug. You ever had to make a Guthix rest, Oxie?
No, but I've had to take it with them before. I don't make them, I eat them, dude. I got people for that. Or bots for that. I don't know.
You're going to cut this out, but I'm going to make you listen to me tell you how to make a Guthix rest. Anyway, so...
Okay, cool.
It
Guthix
sucks
rest.
ass. Or like ashes. You don't need them very much, but like...
What type of niche serum 207
Literally
shit
serum
is
207.
that?
That's what I was gonna say. Just shit that's annoying to get, really. Maybe herblore secondaries, unicorn horns.
That would be busted.
Not anything good, but like unicorn horns. Even like red spider's eggs. Shit, you gotta pick up. There's enough PVM that drops red spider eggs, but like unicorn horn, maybe limpwort roots,
blue dragon scale dust.
those. Shit, you gotta pick up off the ground. Like, give it in low enough quantities that it's not gonna like.
So everything but bird's nests, pretty much.
Maybe not red spider's eggs either, just because like that's crucial to some bosses' money, like Sarachnis and Venenatus. But other shit that's just annoying to get for no reason. I guess it makes Tower of Life less useful, but oh no. My favorite content in the game, Tower of Life. No,
the Tower of Life, bro.
Not my Spidines. They actually improved Tower of Life recently, by the way. Here's our one thing where we talk about the game updates. You used to put the stuff on it, and then you had to press the space bar. Like there was a dialogue saying you put the stuff on it, then the monster would appear. They got rid of that. So it's better to do Tower of Life now.
So yeah, is that the...
That's our game update.
Yeah, we originally talked that like we're going to talk about bingo for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about recent game updates. I hopped into this voice chat at 6:45. It is currently 11:41. And we're wrapping up the episode here, folks. If you guys need anything, go to the description. Every link you'll ever need is in that description. Seriously, everything. Go check it out.
What should people at Michael if they've somehow made it this far?
At Michael and ask him why he allowed Oxie and TMD to be on the show unsupervised. Yeah. Absolutely. Add him and ask him that question. For real though, guys, thank you for hanging out for what may end up being the longest episode of Xpwaste ever, which I really hope it's not. I hope TMD and I have rambled and gotten off topic enough where like this is not a pushing 4-hour episode, because not only is that a nightmare to edit, but like that can't be fun to listen to. I know some of you maniacs out there really want the 4-hour episode, but like, when are you going to find the time to listen to us talk for 4 hours? So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found some pieces of it useful, whether it's bingo related or, bingo related, because that's all we talked about. Like I said, the original plan was to talk about bingo and then the game update, because we both feel very strongly about the wilderness updates that are coming, but we didn't get around to that because TMD and I staying on target and staying on track is not a thing that we do best. We have been working on the board for 3 weeks, not because we're able to refine it that well, because we get so sidetracked looking up shit to make tiles.
Yep. We also already have next year's bingo like planned out.
Yep, pretty much. And the one after that, if the other idea you sent goes through. So you guys are fantastic. Sign up for bingo. Have a blast with it. Come hang out. Come join Discord. Patreon, Twitter, not Facebook, TikTok, all the things.
Pinterest?
Go check it out. No, but if someone wants to make an Xpwaste board on Pinterest, I would love to see it. Support the Not Dead Yet campaign because, again, therapy and RuneScape. I don't know how you get better than that. Go check that out. I would personally really appreciate it if you did. Yeah, TMD people, I would say where can they find you, but the answer is nowhere because you don't even have a consistent Twitter account.
That's true. I have 3, and I will.
You've streamed on Twitch 0 times, and you may have some YouTube videos.
I've streamed Red Ball.
So TMD doesn't have many social platforms.
Come to
but
the Discord
you can hang out with him.
Say hi to me.
He's in VC nearly every day after 5 p.m. Sometimes before 5 p.m. because, why work at your adult job?
I've been working more, but usually during lunch I'll hop on.
Yeah, but in any case, come hang out. You guys are fantastic. This is where the episode is going to end. We will see you all next week.
Bye.